It's going down like this, motherfucker.
This shit is crazy. The following
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was horn. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Say that, nigga. Shit. Bar, back the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog needs slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
Limousine, and every time I'm seen, I got to be. Limousine, and every time I'm seen, I got to be clean.
Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money.
For what he has, he's for what he has, 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 for what he, for what he has, for what he has. He says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
I just left a lot in this bitch. I'm finna hit the shop in this shit.
Hey, where are the white women at?
I'm trying to told you just with Herman, man. No, her mind is fucked. God damn it.
Hey, where are the white women at?
I'm trying to told you just with Herman, man. No, her mind is fucked. God damn it.
Hey, where are the white women at?
I'm trying to told you just with Herman, man.
Well, gotta get a piece. Well, gotta get a piece of my.
Your feet. He looked down, seen her feet. The nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also, because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously.
You don't understand. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am.
Group of you together, you never can tell who's. I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it.
My eye, plus I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
I mean, TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
Don't know me what it is. Nigga. I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line. I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line.
What's all that noise? Oh, that's just daddy. What's all that? Oh, that's just daddy. What's all that? Oh, that's just daddy. What's all that? Oh, that's just daddy.
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Come with baggage, just dance Louis Vuitton.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that.
Bitch niggas, hoe niggas, rich niggas, broke bitch. I told niggas this was on, yeah, right. Come with baggage, just dance Louis Vuitton.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that.
Bitch niggas, hoe niggas, rich niggas, broke bitch. I told niggas this was on, yeah, right.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
I think we OD. I think we OD.
But my word, can't be my equal, don't know what you heard. That's the difference when you're my baby.
Used to snort cocaine, now I beam for the check, yeah.
Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hear the loot juice, it pulls up in the dude. Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the. Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the deuce. I hit.
Like I said, you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
Do that dance, baby, do that dance. Let's work it out. Aye, nigga. Aye, nigga.
Slapping folks is satisfying. She don't like me, but I didn't know. Guess it was underlined.
Lean and walk, lean, walk, lean, walk.
To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only galactic daddy-o welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. Well, I guess that's my cue to come on in and say welcome. So I'm finishing with the Palo Santo. Of course, the question tonight and every night is, how are you going to party with me? Trying to get everything activated so I become activated. You can dig. Hope everybody, coming into this new week, spring approaches closer and closer. We get closer to the eclipse. I know Derek up in Milwaukee, he's big into eclipse. Gematrinator creator. Okay, looks like everything is good. Motherfucker's hot. It's like shit. The motherfucker's hot. So you know how we always start. We start by talking about the best beverage in the country. It comes from Great Lakes Brewery, which I believe is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Is it Grand Rapids? Let's see. Yeah, Great Lakes doesn't really say. I thought it said. Best by 12/28/23. Because this beer was cold too, and I've never see it cold. So this beer is, but it's not stale. So pop them if you got them. My mother's magic motherfucking bottle opener that just crashed all the crystals. It's supposed to magically float up there, but I guess if I don't have the touch, it doesn't magically float up. There we go. We got it to work. So again, pop them if you got them. Oh, cheers. And, we are high all day on herb. It's the herb Delta 8-9 live resin gummies berry burst. 100 grams. 100, 100 milligrams of the Delta 8 and THC 9, whatever the fuck. And what's interesting, and so smoke them if you want them. And what's interesting is this is becoming less and less because the laws, it's going to be legal in 25. I think I mentioned this last night. They've busted several places, that had flour. I remember going in places, it's flour, and then they test the flour. The flour's a little too strong. So like they're doing these temporary harassments, which make no sense because it's like, it's coming. Their business is still being taxed. But it's such a middle ground up here, it's such a middle ground. And the other part is they're trying to criminalize the driving part, but all of a sudden science is coming out and say, you really when you're on THC, you're really not going to be a big driving problem. Not slow reaction, not driving fast enough is about the only thing that's really going to happen. It's like you got to keep reminding yourself, drive the speed with everybody else. That's the biggest thing you have to kind of push yourself. Because the energies are opposite, when you get high, you just kind of want to just cruise, listen to music, you're not really forcing anything. Speed, you're kind of having to force. So, yeah, that's what they're working out. But, oh my goodness, how's everybody doing today? It was a beautiful day today here. We got so much accomplished. We bought we got our recliners. We go down to Macy's, and Macy's, we went there Black Friday. And Macy's has a, clearance price too. So our chairs, the only difference to our chairs was the color. And those are $1,000 electric recliners with the head moving and all that shit. And we got them for like $3 something each one. We got 2 identicals. It's just because of the color that they. So went back and bought. Well, we bought our couch. We ordered our couch, picked out the fabric. That came 2 weeks ago. But my wife wanted a dresser, so we were just looking around, and even not on just the lower floor, they had a bunch of discount stuff, and she found the dresser she wants. Because I'm getting the tall dresser. We're kind of switching. We're trashing one dresser. We're going to end up putting the tall dresser over at my daughter's room. And again, when my son comes in here, we're readjusting this. I bought my bookshelf. I got another bookshelf to put books and crystals. So that's going to help. And have it more regulated, be able to put my books more together when I need them. So it was a very productive day. We rented a truck, and there was actually 2 bookshelves, but one bookshelf was hit with mold, and I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking with that one. That one down there, that leg is pretty nasty, buddy. But actually, they're pretty good, solid bookshelves, so excited about that. So we're going to move those things around. It's just, got to get my son over here to move that motherfucker and get me a back brace. But I lifted it really not too bad. I think we definitely can bring the bookshelf up here. I've got to use some glue to glue a few things, and that's all. It's like some pegs just need to be, put this, like this shit is so spread, and you just put a little bit of this in a hole and stick it in there, and it'll hold it in there. It's Gorilla Glue. But so yeah, oh man, I should have brought it up here. Damn, I forgot to bring it up here. So I bought this thing for pickleball. And I think I talked to you yesterday when I mentioned that I went out to Shields. We have a really great sports store that still sells guns and everything. I mean, it's a true sporting store. But anyway, they have a pickleball. They had a practice thing, and it's for dinking, so it's for short little hits. And it's if you really think of like a little paddle ball, the little red ball, it's basically that, but with a pickleball on it. So you attach it to your paddle, and you learn to dink little shots. And so as you hit it away, your force back brings the ball back to you. So it's a nice little, I would say it's mainly a lot of for backhand. And then I kind of do a little thing like this. And these depending how, because it's I know I'm gonna be late this morning, depending on how late I stay up to see if I can get up and go play in the morning. Because they're gonna play. They're gonna start playing in the mornings. I know they are, so, and they've probably been playing, and tomorrow's gonna be damn near 70. So if I can get up at a reasonable time and drive out there, that is the plan, to get back into pickleball and then start playing indoors too. And get to playing like at least 3 times a day. So that's the plan, yeah. So it's so good to everybody to come in. I appreciate you all for sure. Dr. Sinister, what's happening? And I never worry about you checking
my bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Lorenzo from the Mississippi, what's happening? And I know he's definitely got
to have vision.
Jamar, what is happening? And I know.
Got to have vision.
Call me crazy all you want, but my women's college basketball for the past 2 years has been mostly entertaining than the men's. Yeah, I was watching the fight in the restaurant. The one big girl knocked the girl down, and she just walked kind of away from the fight. So yeah, and a couple girls suspended for the early playoff game. So Jeffrey Lane, what is happening? And I know you definitely got
to have vision.
Joey, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. And I know you definitely got to have
vision.
El Reborn Amaru Khan, thank you for coming. And I know you definitely got to have
vision.
Very kind words. Thank you. And definitely for you as well. Tapping in from Snoop Dogg. Snook Dog. Thank you. From Alabama. Oh man, Montgomery is beautiful. Birmingham, you in Birmingham. Okay, I haven't been in Birmingham, but I've been in Montgomery. And it is beautiful.
You got to have vision.
Yeah, we went through Montgomery when we went to Florida. We went through Montgomery. I never played football in Alabama, which is surprising that I didn't get to play football in Alabama. We never played Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee. He recently got a lot of hate from it. Who are you talking? Okay, I have a question for you, Time Lord. It's just about a fuck around question. Did you see Zack Snyder on Joe Rogan the other day? I did not. He was talking about deconstructing superheroes. He wanted Batman with a gun. Okay. He recently got a lot of hate from it, bringing up because he brought up the thought of Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman being gods to humanity. It's crazy to think of Batman in a god sense, exactly because he's always been like, Iron Man and Batman been basically the same. They're telling you that they got their powers through technology, agility and technology and quick thought. So that's the difference. They're commons, they're common men. So, but technology, bread and technology, Then her brother comes out the stands and gets in the midst of it. Yeah, Lorenzo, definitely. Also, Joe, so everyone knows my favorite superhero movie all time is Superman. Now, Superman, July 25. Yeah, Lorenzo, that was quite. Let's see, they've been showing the fight. Let's see if we can catch it. I'm sure we can catch the. Let's see. Fight. Here we go. I think this is it. Is this it? This today? Let's see. Let me see. Is this today? I think this is it, though. I think this is it. I thought, because they got in a fight with South Carolina. So this ain't it. Or maybe it is, because let's see. Yeah, this is it. Let's see, right here. No, I'm gonna take a hit for this, but these motherfuckers is crazy. Look at this shit. Over nothing. It was like really over nothing. Let's go back a little further. Over nothing. Over nothing. She got out of there. She's like, ooh, 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 ooh. The darkest just don't get along. You know how that goes. That is very interesting. ESPN, that is very, very interesting. That it's just, that conflict. Also, they are now eating people in Haiti, and literally eating people all because barbecuing. Wow. I didn't know Zach was on Joe Rogan. I kind of lost track. Zach had a radio show, which I'm still, and I don't even get any feeds from Zach at all. So I don't know if he's got new channels. I don't get anything from Zach anymore. It doesn't even cross. And I never, unsubscribed from Zach. And I've said before, my best show ever was with Zach. 100,000 views was my best show ever with Zach. With Zach sharing my stuff. And he was cool with me, We kind of had some words and he was cool. He was a man about it. He's like, this is this. I'm like, cool. Yeah, I saw Oppenheimer won, and then the lady from Killer of the Flower Moon didn't win. They gave it to the other lady. That was bogus as hell. The chick didn't get it. Killer of the Flower Moon. Now, I said that I said Iron Man was going to definitely get supporting actor. I called that when I saw it. I called that. I said he's getting supporting actor for this one. And y'all go back to look at my critique of Oppenheimer, and I said that he was good. He was good in that. Like, you know, I'm up to like 3 or 4 times of watching Oppenheimer, and I'm always fascinated by the particles, the sounds. You know, again, they show the waves. I mean, I like that kind of thing, you know, so. And they give you that. You know, they give you the quirkiness, the sex, but they give you that his imagination, like the particles and the waves, and we don't get that a lot. So I like that about that. But not to give her the Killer of the Flower Moon is just ridiculous. And I'm gonna tell you, you know, and it's hard for me to rewatch The Killer of the Flower Moon. I'm halfway, not even halfway watching it. Like the oldest sister just gets killed. That's where I am. And this is like a couple weeks of trying to watch this shit. This shit's hard to watch. You know, just the out and out. And again, I might do a video about that scene, like, and it goes today. It's just, it's I don't know. So, but her not to win supporting actress was bogus. That shit was bogus. That shit was bogus. She should have won. The other job, that other movie, more like a gang leader. Next, not the Zach who does Gematria. I mean the director Zach. More like a gang leader. Time Lord, back up a couple of comments. I mean the director Zack Snyder. He directed Man of Steel. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't know. Okay, the biggest gang leader in Haiti goes by the name Barbecue. Damn, that's fucked up. Damn, okay. So, okay, Zack Snyder, I'm sorry. Okay, I got dyslexia, so I got to mix it all together so it takes a second to make sense. But okay, I got you. More like a gang leader. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, I got you. I'm caught up. I'm sorry, guys. I am slow. Takes me a while to make it make sense. Okay. No, I didn't know that. I see like the Joe Rogan shorts, but that's about it. I don't sit there and listen to him. I ain't listen to him as Cat other than a short. Because what else Cat got to say? Jesus saves, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
I agree. I think Godzilla's gonna be a good movie too. PJ Allen, what's happening? And I know you don't need any problem handling your
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
damn, his name is Barbecue. And you know, they're still making Haiti pay. They're making Haiti pay for what they did. You know, they're never going to, it's a reminder of what the rest of America should be. That's what Haiti is a reminder of them of. They're constantly reminded, you know, and it's like if they don't keep them in a certain fighting servitude way, they want to punish them forever because they had the goal to not want to stand up. So they punished them a different kind of way. Because if you look at Napoleon's Haiti, that's how he was able to wage war was through Haiti. Of all the lands the Europeans had at the time that Napoleon was in control, Haiti before the revolution against Napoleon, you know, Haiti was keeping Napoleon rich. So, and how does it go from that to, you know, a third world country? It's with oppression. And don't forget, what was it, 30 years American were there? 1900 to 1920. It's almost 30 years we occupied it. And it's a U.S. territory. So makes you wonder. No, I mean there are 2 Godzilla movies out. Godzilla -1 is a realistic version of Godzilla. I saw that one. And King Kong Godzilla action movie version coming out in May. Exactly. Yeah, I knew that. Exactly. I saw the other one. I saw the other one. You know I saw the other one, bro. -1. I saw that one. Yeah. I definitely saw that one. You know that. So I see my man Ancestral Production put a new one out. I'll play a little bit of it for you. Oh, I guess we got some debauchery here in Minnesota. I don't need that right now, though. The game was some BS. Let me talk a little bit about the game. It was a BS. And really, what in the first quarter, and didn't score, and then the third quarter, he tried not to score. I mean, it was a lot of BS. And just like the Philly game, what's my man name? Kelly Ubik, right? Shit, they made him look like a star, in which he's always had the potential, given the chance to play. He got the interview at the end of the game because he played well. They're trying to put these teams to see if Embiid, and I'm gonna say if all injuries that look fake this year, Embiid's injury looked fake. A dude just landed on his leg. He was down, a dude fell on his leg. What they want to say, like Towns is out because he had a meniscus tear. I don't know what's wrong with Joe Bear. Joe Bear didn't play. Who else didn't play tonight? So Towns, Joe Bear didn't play. And actually, Nas didn't play bad. That's why I really don't, Nas can pick up all that, Nas is a great player. Towns is a little taller, a little better, but Nas gives you solid game too. It's not a big drop off. So they, and Ant didn't play. Y'all saw Ant did not play tonight. And it's interesting. The only place you can get the Ant shoes is you got to go out to the Mall of America and get the motherfuckers. They got them out there. It was almost like a sequel to Oppenheimer. I don't know. It was like the original Godzilla of the 50s. I did a breakdown. You got to go to the breakdown. I did a breakdown on that movie before, so go back to the breakdown. I like the thing is, this is of all Godzilla movies, what I get out of it, is that Godzilla is the Europeans. He's the monster, and the monster was able to get radiation and hurt people with radiation. Again, and that's what I get out of it. The monster, because it's like, why is God why would Godzilla be mad at the Chinese all the time? I mean, it seems to be a theme. Like he's really mad at the Chinese. So that's the other part but that's what I've always, as I've gotten older, that's my breakdown of Godzilla. The Americans is Godzilla and radiation. Now remember though, if you go into the original stories, with Mothra, and those little twin little things, the little twin fairy little ladies. Remember, these were protectors too at one point. So it's kind of interesting because remember, after Japan couldn't have an army, America was protectors of them. So if you remember how the story evolved in those mid 60 to early 70 ones, it evolved like that. So because they became their protectors. So. Yes, indeed. Would Haiti be considered a shithole country? I mean, only because they let it be. It could be beautiful. Remember, it's resorts that it's privately owned. Disney, I think, it's a couple resorts that own resorts in Haiti. I think Disney owns a resort area, but they ain't got none of them problems. It's people still vacation on Haiti, so. And they ain't raiding and kidnapping them people. They ain't getting to them people. So it's allowed. Where it's allowed at, it's allowed. So that's all. Yeah, they have certain players. Yeah, certain players set out against LeBron. Exactly. Mac Fat, what's happening? Thank you for coming in. I know. Yes, Lakers definitely have had a tremendously long homestand.
You got to have vision.
Matter of fact, when the Lakers went on their when the Lakers went on the road, it was at home against the Clippers. You know, it was like that was their last one of their last road games was at home against the Clippers. But it was the Clippers home game. So that's to tell you how soft they tried to make it for him. Yeah. Whitezilla Lakers won tonight, but if T Wolves Lakers meet in the playoffs, they beat them 5. I say, yeah, I say the T Wolves take them down. I say the TV they might get it a pass this year. You know, I've been wrong on a lot of things, so it's hard to say. But just judging on how far they really want to push Ant, you know, that really seems to be what is coming down to, and I think that Ant is getting the pulse like no one else. You know, because Ant again has that, you know, he has the combination of the energies, you know, Jordan combination, Dominic Wilkes combination, Minnie Goat, David Thompson, you know, he has the combination of all these people. So I wouldn't be surprised they want to run with Ant, but we'll see. And it's really, it's going to go on, you know, the Lakers kind of thing. You know, they did win here as Lakers. So it's almost like that's how they would have to justify it. If you can dig, I think that's how they would justify it. But we'll see. You know, I've said that other years, and they like, da, 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 da. You know, that doesn't happen. What do you think trying to push with the Lakers? Well, like the way the leagues have been marketed, you can see that teams are marketed more than other teams. You know, like just your like your own feeds with your phone and what comes up. You know, your searches and stuff you get. You know, whatever gear of stuff you like. You know, this comes up locally, but what comes up locally, you also know that the other stuff comes up, and it favors, you know, others. You know. So, so that's how the league has always been slanted. You know, still, you know, like the players, you know, like NFL and NBA players, they do rely on shirts of sales of jerseys too. I mean, you look at those jerseys, it says, you know, both the time it has both tags, so they, you know, everybody gets a part of it. So that's why, you know, I'm pretty much a big supporter of jerseys. That's why I say I'm probably gonna get that Russell Wilson when it gets rock bottom when the NFL starts. If that double X number 3, I'm gonna get the hat in New Jersey just because it's a jersey. I mean, it's made out of good material. It's a little shirt and now the jerseys is little shirts, which is interesting. They ain't the big old jerseys. They're the tight little shirts, which is kind of, you know, I guess that's a sign of the time. Even the baseball jerseys with the smaller names on the back, you know, a lot of players was complaining about them and stuff. You know, I've talked about that. And so, yeah, that's going to be a good question as we continue forward. Like really, can they push the Lakers? And D'Lo scoring 44 was a big, like, okay, they might keep the basket on for him. So that was a big indication of the Lakers. They like the Lakers, and the Lakers is you know, it's good TV. But I really just wonder if they're going to let Ant run with it, because if Ant really has a good run through the league and all of the guys are healthy, they, you know, the league could really be a big face with Ant. Ant could be the face of the league. You know, other than I think it was the pregnancy thing. I mean, he hasn't been very sloppy. You know, he hasn't really been very sloppy. So you know, they might let Ant run with it. The energy he puts in the game, and again, he is that Dr. J. David Thompson, Connie Hawkins kind of energy, but he's you know, closer to David Thompson because of, you know, really just being that guard that's constantly putting pressure on you because he can handle, but yet he can shoot, and you know, the defense, you know, the hustle, and then he has guys behind him. So I say that it might be a way they push him. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out, how they'll push him. Why do you think they They quiet about LeBron's PED situation. I hope they do not because of that, but because his game is so incredible. Yeah, I don't disagree, but I say both. But remember, Jordan played several years of credible basketball. They didn't win, so I just think I don't know. I don't know if they're going to ever get LeBron with that. I don't know. It seems like they've kind of hushed that up. So, and that's always been the allegations, but it doesn't seem like his head got a lot bigger like Barry Bonds did. But that's like it's always been big head dudes. Now maybe OJ shot steroids too, but it seemed like the college pitchers he had a really incredibly big head too. So I don't know, because Barry Bonds definitely, as he got older, his head got bigger. So I don't know if that's a side effect. Sammy Sosa, they said put cream on his skin that made him lighten up. Don't lighten up, tighten up. So I don't know, maybe I should use that. It's like try to take some of this gold away, take some of this gold complexion away and make myself really pale. It's funny, like when it gets nice and I'm out there all day playing pickleball, I start really, the gold just comes out. I get like a bronze, I don't know what you call it. It's American sun, I absorb it, so. But man, I wish I would have brought this little tool to show you guys. It's really a nice little thing. It's little workouts, it's a little workouts. I found where it's little bitty balls that you train pickleball with that just get your arms sharp. And that's the scary thing about playing is, I haven't played in a while, so I know I'm not gonna play good. So, but if I do it every day, I'll eventually play good. And get this indoor thing going too. So it's the opportunity to play good. Yeah. And I want to get my inserts too and just play all year with the inserts in. Because the guys give the shoes away, because you buy whatever them shoes is, them inserts ain't good as custom inserts. That's just the name of the game. They're not as good. That's why them shoes ain't as worth as much as them inserts. Them inserts is worth something where they can keep using them because the time it takes to get them. You have to get them. It's going to take a couple weeks for them to make them. So yeah. That's so I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever go after LeBron about that. I don't know. Well, they say Lonzo Ball. Really? What are they saying here? He's gonna try to play again? And I've said this before, his shoes. Lonzo Ball's issues came from wearing messed up shoes. And we see a history of what happened to messed up shoes. Going back to Marbury. Now Marbury is one of the best examples. But Grant Hill wearing the Fila's. It's a lot of Fila's sold, Fila had Detroit locked, but they weren't a good hoop shoe. Wasn't enough put into it. And him and his father and his family was put in the same situation. So if you're going to get some hoop shoes made, at first, the first move they should have made is hit their son about 500 pair. That should have been the first round. Make him his shoes he going to hoop in. That was the first investment in the company. We could even say 200 pair. So he can trial and error. Then you go into the production, but he's the one. Or you have a side, and it's a little more dough, but you had a side line, which I think Karl Malone did. And Karl Malone he never tried to sell a shoe. Karl Malone had people make him a shoe. And, like people to understand this is like in a shoe factory, that's a line or it could be a building. It could be a building where they just making him shoes. 85 games plus practicing. You need 100 and some shoes. So here it says Lonzo Ball is cleared for activities, but poor shoes is what his downfall is. Has not played in the NBA, but on occasion recovering from the left knee that had held him out had been minimum. Report indicated that he would start running again in January, but running and playing are two very different things. Fortunately, ball appears to have taken another step in the right direction. According to CBS, has been cleared for advanced activity on his rehab. Said the ball has been running and cutting. Wow, some of the workouts really positive. Okay, well, we hope wear better equipment. We hope you can come back from it. But that's that's the sadness of not really understanding research and development. You can't just come out with a shoe that you're going to hoop with. And Marbury made the same mistake, talking about he was going to hoop in them plastic shoes, and those shoes are literally plastic. Even Under Armour, their first shoes was plastic. If y'all been getting them, because the first pair I ever bought, however, that was probably 10 years ago, but they were all plastic shoe, better plastic than the Marburys. I'll say that. And that was the only Under Armour pair of shoe I ever got. It was a pair of high top, but it was plastic high tops. But the Marbury shoe, the Dave and Barry shoe, I mean, again, it was nothing that a pro athlete could ever play in. And then they tried to say Ben Wallace was playing in them too, because they gave Ben Wallace some bread. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you guys should have had a separate line making your shoes. And that's the reality, Again, like I said, the people that have, you have the arch support, the custom orthotics. There's players that the shoes are, made a little more custom to them. Like I noticed like a 13 and a half, 14 and a half, you hardly ever see those shoes. Like the first time I ever saw a 13 and a half was I think Sam Mitchell, the shoes Sam Mitchell gave me a pair. Everybody wanted the socks and there was nothing else. And I'm in the locker room and Sam was like, shit, take these motherfuckers. I'm like, shit, okay. And it was the first time I'd ever seen the 13 and a half, which I can wear, because I can wear 14s too. Some, but most time I can wear 14s. Not too many that's too big on me. I think one of my feet is more 14 than 13. So very rare to see 13 and a half. Or even to be, it seems like those is, for the ball players, college and pro players to get those shoes. So, what are you saying? Because of that, because the game is so incredible. Yeah, there are different arenas. Lakers, Clippers are just like the Rams, Chargers. They play in the same arena, very much so. How do you say? Oh gosh, I'm way behind. That's the Brooklyn playing the Knicks. It's crazy. You said that about our Godzilla because it's King Kong Godzilla. You're fighting that white Godzilla named Shum. No BS. Let me catch up. Ain't no gave up his mama. Wow. Yeah, and they play different arenas. Yep. I'm caught up there. A lot to do, not because of that, but game is so incredible. What do you think? They quiet. Okay, I caught that one. Are you going to see Ghostbusters? I don't know. I saw the other one, so I'm probably, yeah, but I'm not enthused about it. I liked the idea of some of the ideas, so. Like when they trap the people, why are they keeping that energy? They're not destroying it. They're trying to trap it. It's like Solomon, Trap it, control it, trap it. Yeah, Ball was a good defender. Yeah. Grant Hills are only good for style and definitely wear comfortable insole. Yeah, but they just didn't do enough research with the shoe. And he suffered from it already. I was saying, need to quit playing around and make the Batman Beyond movie. I can feel you. You made me a fanboy of UConn and Minnesota's own Paige going back to school because they gave her more bread. So light on Paige. Yes, they should. They better do. Or what? Michael Keaton's still around. Miss Ghostbusters. Still haven't seen it. Yeah, I saw. I saw that one too. I saw them all. The one I think Ghostbusters 3. I tell the thing about how like this is a weird little thing that malls do. Malls have little spells that it's really a little spell that like walking into malls can kind of get you. And Ghostbusters has a similar thing that shows this. It was like they was called to a store and there was these, like little monster demons on top of the store. But they were going into the people and it's really an energy and it's it's almost like the energy of gambling. If you understand, like, it's a little spirit of gambling that can get into you, and you get that, hot streak and get that gambling thing, but it a little, you can be slightly possessed by something like that too. The places are made for that. And so it's the same little thing that can affect you. Um, so so you go into a store and you wonder why you done spent more. Or like, they say when you go in the store, don't go in the store hungry, because you end up spending more money because you're hungry, you know. Especially you got the munchies, you buy all this shit up. So wants to state as UConn, and don't you forget that. Yeah, but Paige is staying in school. I'm surprised the other girl didn't stay in school. You're gonna make more money. You're gonna make more money in college. So I don't, and that's why we know when the people and like the Gipper and other people say it's bad that college football people get paid in college football. That's stupid. It's going to keep people in college more. And then there's going to be a lot more people that, they ain't got to go, can become businessmen after the college career. I mean, that's the powerful thing you've got to look at. There are going to be people that aren't going to have to step into playing. It's people that if they do their thing right and they get their business right, that fourth year, if you stay the fourth year, you can step into whatever business because you've made enough money and you ain't got to risk your body anymore. And that's what I don't think people understand that can happen. The athlete that says, nah, I got enough bread. And again, how do you feel about the young men that had CTE and killed themselves? Like right out of in high school, we've had young men that killed themselves in high school. We've had young men that killed themselves in their early 20s. They got to studying on them. One young man, they thought he had CTE since he was in 7th, 8th grade, that killed himself. So what do you say about that? And I mean, I come from the generation of where practices, like, it's a movie you can look up about Alabama when Bear Bryant was at Texas A&M. And he damn near, what do you call it? Dehydrated the whole team. Because back then it was like water is supposed to make you weak. He had 2 or 3 players that almost died on him because he wouldn't give them water and got him out there running in that 110. No compassion. They're just slaves to do what you want to do. And this has went on. And I've talked about this nightly. I go into basketball, and the way the bread really should be this, you can look up what, you do your own, like, look up what the NCAA has made in the past 20 years, per tournament. And I ain't even talking about the whole year because, again, the teams get their individual share. The teams do their own TV contracts now. They went back and forth, and I think it's back to where the teams get their own contracts. And of course, there's certain channels that do certain leagues, of course. And so you've got to consider that a boy is playing, and the good thing of all this, if we're looking at what has happened to keep people healthier longer, and I've talked about this many times, but what has happened that is positive is 7-on-7. But again, I've also brought up the point, and I've also said that this is opportunity for somebody. How do you train linemen? Because what you're doing is you've created for the past, 7-on-7 leagues are at least 20 years old, at least. Matter of fact, like when I was doing my touch football, what's 7-on-7 now was called Air Force. So we had the touch league and we had the Air Force league. And that's what is 7-on-7 now. The regular touch league, you got linemen blocking, and the Air Force league, you had none of that. It was just basically a passing league. So you're training the DBs, you're training linebackers, you're training receivers to catch, you're training the backs, quarterbacks. Who's training the linemen? Like what do the linemen have to do? They can compete to show that part of the game. And it's, it's really no solution so far. Now, I guess if a person does come up with a solution of that, and they can find a way to make that be competitive. Because again, there's no way to practice offensive lineman without really hitting. You got to hit. There's really no other drill. But I mean, like even going back to the Oklahoma drill, which could be 2-on-2 with a back and a linebacker. And I mean, that's everybody head banging. And I think it's outlawed now, but it's everybody head banging. And I'll say this, and look and reflecting, I never understood why coaches delighted in banging up the players. That never made sense to me. Even when I got in college, I still saw the same thing. It's like if we lost, we had to bang heads. How does that help? When everybody is already, is hurt and limping, and then you got us in practice tackling and shit. I dropped a pass in practice, and the dude had a dude tackle me, and it injured me. After that, he tackled me after that. He's like, tackle the motherfuckers. Motherfucker tackle me. I ain't wear my hip pads because we wasn't supposed to hit. And technically, I was injured till almost the whole next week. So I never understood that, and that's what used to happen. There's a lot of head button. They still making giant heels. They have the 3s out now. Okay. And NFL players are retiring younger and younger, and that's good. Make linemen receivers for and don't hit the quarterback. Soon robots, like on the Jetsons, they had the robots playing football. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's just, and I've always referred back to this. It was a Sports Illustrated article in the 90s, I think. And they were talking about the future of football and the things that came to be. And I remember one of the big things was the jumping, something that enhanced the jumping, but it showed something that enhanced the catching. And I guess I don't mention that part enough, but it's an article from Sports Illustrated where they talk about the future of the game. And that's one thing they talk about. They go through and break down how, the ability to catch the ball is going to be, you have things to help you catch the ball. But it was the one thing that hasn't come to fruition was the ability to, be able to jump higher with some kind of activations. So, I know who needs to play the old Batman. Oh, I know. That's okay. I get you. Okay. So I don't know that's I think if somebody can figure out a competitive way to have these people involved. And I don't really know the answer. I've kind of looked at it as a theory and a practice, and it's I don't know. It's hard to, because all the drills, it's contact, and like it or not, we have to expose them to less contact. So that's the danger, and that's the reality. It's like on these people, the less contact. As I said before, from the Go Bowl team I played on, all the linemen have passed. All the linemen have passed, and all of them were older than me. One was a senior, I think. Big Smooth was a senior, but Big West and Junkins were only a year older than me, and I'm missing one. Center, who's the other tackle? No, that was everybody. Big Smooth. Oh, Pig Iron. Pig Iron was the tackle. All of them passed. So, these people, none of them played pro. Well, Big West played pro. He got drafted, went to camp. So, but he didn't have a career in it. I know that's who needs to play. Couldn't they put something around hell nets or something? I imagine. The helmet, something around the helmet. They've tried that, some people have pointed out, remember they tried, linemen had the double helmets. Do you remember? It was the double helmets. It had the helmet and you saw a soft helmet over it. And that's what they practice in now. You know, they kind of practice in the double helmets because they put the soft helmet over their regular helmet, which is a step in the right direction. I mean, that is a step in the right direction. You know, the first concussion I really had of any type of playing football was falling, and when I stood up, a dude caught me with his knee. It's like he ran through me, and his knee hit my helmet with full momentum. Like I caught like I fell when I went to stand up. He just kind of ran over me. And that was the first time I'd ever had a concussion. That was in high school. But I kept playing. So, you know, a lot of other people that had the same thing. So I don't know. The helmet is the answer, though. I'll say that. The helmet is the answer. If they can create something that stops the concussions, but they can still have the collisions, that would be ideal for the NFL. Eliminate concussions, but still be able to have collisions. So it's a helmet that can take a bullet, and I guess you know the bullet ain't gonna really, you know, it bouncing off your head's not quite going to give you concussion. I mean, you know, a little headache though, hits that Kevlar. That's not quite the answer. Motorcycle helmets, you know, that you can bounce off the concrete. So it just doesn't seem like they've put together something that can, you know, take it. So I don't know. I do agree though that the answer is in the helmet. Totally agree with that. Because the problems, like you, I wonder this too. You know, like the leather helmets. Like I don't think we have enough research was done on the people that just strictly wore leather helmets. Because I think the first 20, 30 years, that's all, you know, people used. Plastic helmets didn't come out until probably after World War II. So yeah, probably 48. I mean, maybe we'll see a plastic helmet in 44, 45, 45, 46. But really, you didn't see them universal until, you know, more of the mid to late 40s. So, you know, it's interesting. And like another thing is like we can compare is Canadian players. Because I've never seen a big study on CTE in Canadian players. They play with an extra man. They play in a wider field. They play in a longer field. They only have 3 downs. And, you know, they still run the ball, but it's more of a passing league. And so I wonder, you know, I look at the study of that, and is that the answer? You know, adapt that field. Because from what I see and, you know, hearing some of the ex-players talking stuff, and I you know, again, I'm not exposed to a big pool. You know, some of the brothers that played in Canada, you know, I get some pictures, but, you know, it's hard for me to judge that. I don't know. And none of my friends personally played in Canada. Well, Ricky Foggy is the only, and we're not really friends. I went to college with his brother, but he played in Canada and he played quarterback, and he appears fine. And again, it's been a while since I've seen him, so to be honest, Canadian League is better. How many concussions in rugby? That's another point. How many concussions is rugby? No helmet. No helmet. Maybe ear protectors, but no helmets. Rugby. Australian rules football. No helmets. But rugby, another one. No helmets. No equipment. Australian rules football. You know, and you know, rugby and Australian rules football. Well, Australian rules football is mostly kicking, but still, you know, a lot of running. But rugby is a combination of both. You know, if people really study what rugby is, it's a game of pitch. You know, you have you know, you're all scrounged up together, and then once the team controls the ball, you've got so many tries to get the touch, and it's all basically on pitch. You're trying to get the angles. You know, it's mostly sweeps. I mean, if you break the game down and you have so many tries to get the touch, or you got to try to kick it. And but again, no equipment. And so, yeah, these things have to be looked at as what is harming people so much, you know. And I just say that, football advances what, could have naturally happened. And my friend's parents, no dementia, no dementia. And the only difference between him and his parents is the college football he played. His dad played probably in the leather, maybe early plastic helmets, but I think when his dad went to A&T, he played in no face mask because his dad was like an older parent. He had played like not in the 60s. His dad played like in the 50s, like in the early 50s. And his dad, other than I think he might have one time had a stroke, but he never smoked. I didn't know how much Mr. Led drank. But that's, and his mother, she lived a long life. Mother was beautiful. I mean, forever. But if you compare his parents, and his sisters and brothers are still alive. And if you compare them all, the only difference is the type of football that he played in practice. As I said, he might have, the one year I didn't play, he might have played. So someone would have to tell me that. I don't really remember if he did or not. But for 2 years, I know for a fact he didn't play. He was on scout team both years. And I've told the story before, he had separated shoulder as a freshman. This motherfucker didn't flinch. It's like, damn. And like right in front of me, he's like, okay, we're going to have to put it back. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah, this nigga, they put his shoulder back. He's like, oh, I'm used to it. He didn't flinch. And right then, he's like, yeah, this is a dog. They popped his shit in place. He's like, okay, just put it back in place. Shit, he's ready to go back. And they had to make him go. He's like, okay, I'm okay now. It's like, no. And eventually he had a pin put in his shoulder. So he missed some practicing then. But that's the only difference between him and his parents is that, the practice he did in college football. Rugby is definitely rough as fuck. I don't know. Like I played in, like my first helmet, I've said my first gifts as a human was probably a football and a football helmet. And my first football helmet, they call it a suspension. And this was, helmets went like this for a long time because my helmet, it was a little boy helmet, but was made like the other helmets was made. It had a rubber little part on the top of the helmet, and then it had straps. And, it was suspension, you know what I'm saying? So the concussion had them straps, kind of gave you a little cushion. That was the first type of helmets I had. Now, when you had leather helmets, I've tried leather helmets on, and I hate I didn't steal one. I probably wouldn't even have to steal it. I had access, and I probably could have just kept it. And I wish I would have. But they were just really good leather, sturdy. And I thought sturdier than my suspension helmets. And that's why they end up putting face masks on some of those old leather helmets. And my early rocket football, little boy football, the dudes who couldn't afford equipment, that's what they wore. If they need equipment, they had to wear the donated equipment. So there was a lot of them. We used to call them Jim Thorpe helmets. We used to call the niggas Jim Thorpe. He's like, yeah, these niggas is Jim Thorpe. But yeah, rugby is rough. If you ever watch live rugby, they got women's rugby. But it's like, NFL is going to have to figure out something to break that down. And it's the whole, all of it. Numbers are down. And I like when my boy that's 22, numbers have been down for a while. Numbers have been down for little boy football for a while, at least 10 years. And so more and more people aren't being open to letting their children participate. But again, it's 7-on-7 is if you got talented children that can run fast and dodge and can back up and cover and catch. 7-on-7 is out there too. And I was showing those linemen that can run those fast times. And I say, you're right. I agree with whoever said, let the linemen play receivers too. Let them play DBs and let them play receivers. I think that's the only really answer. And that's the way to work them all out. Let them all catch passes. And I'm definitely open to that. You know, let them catch passes too. You know. And so the equipment, you know, helps and hurts at the same time. Now, one thing that should be done away with is turf fields. I mean, everybody hates the turf fields. That's why they hated playing indoors, is because most indoor places have to have turf fields. Because turf is just harder on your legs. Like Deion Sanders' problem comes from turf. His initial injury that made him quit playing, because Deion was basically healthy, but what made him, you know, quit playing was turf toe. He was dealing with turf toe with both Washington and the Ravens. You know, he was dealing with that then, and you see what it's turned into today. And you think that, you know, everybody that does surgery on you is just the greatest, and you see they're not. If you look at Deion's situation, everybody that do surgery on you ain't necessarily the greatest. So, you know, we have to take care of America's better. And I'm a total agreement that if children want to play, you know, play 7-on-7 and don't play equipment until you're a freshman. Your body's developed a lot more. So that's what it looks like to me. And then wear the practice helmets, you know. Don't bang helmets in practice. Oh, wow, Dr. Sinister, you shattered your elbow. Yeah, I remember, you know, like I said, I grew up on turf. And I didn't play on turf in high school, but Western Michigan University was in Kalamazoo. And it was a point where they, like every Sunday, they kept it open so we could play football. Like we really, like on Sundays, we had a couple options. And we could play football at Kalamazoo College because they kept their football field open. They didn't care if we played. And so we could play over there. But when the turf field was put in Western, so that was the first time I got to really, you know, get used to running on turf, was at Western Michigan University. And I learned early, that, you know, icy fields, turf fields was kind of cool. You had the right kind of shoes. But I learned about having the elbow pads and the knee pads or high socks, because that shit would burn the fuck out you. You know, sweatbands and stuff covering your arms. You know, I remember we played up in the Meadowlands where the Giants and Jets played, where, you know, Dr. J played with the Nets up in the Meadowlands. And I told Frank, I was like, man, I'll cover them legs up because this shit will burn the fuck out you. He ran a comeback and dove, and he had a nasty cherry. It took weeks for that nasty cherry to heal. And I just looked at him like, yeah, see, I know what I was talking about. Because I played on that shit. And they gave us some cool shoes. They gave us some truly good turf shoes. And you can't kind of hardly find those type of shoes anymore. The original old turf shoes. They were really heavy, but they were good for that. Yeah, because you couldn't really wear the cleats. So you had to change shoes. My neighbor's son is going to high school next year. He's playing soccer and football right now. But I told him he's playing strictly soccer as we get to high school. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's opportunities in soccer and reffing, and it's a whole lot of opportunities in soccer. So, yeah. Yeah. My daughter's not even playing basketball. You know, my daughter's doing her baton thing, so she's not even playing basketball. So, you know, that's not even being pushed, which is okay. You know, we're working with what talent she has. You know, the talent that she has, that's what we're working with. So, wherever they came, thank you. Yeah, I've seen some bullshit try to interfere, but yeah, thank you. And so, yeah, so that's you know, how I attack things. So don't push anybody to do that. And my friends come to me, like my best friend, he bought the jig machine, and he paid, I think, $1,200 for a jig machine. He made good money selling it. I think he said he paid $900, and I think he said he almost got $2,000 for it. You know, and like I told him, you know, practice catching punts and you know, catching balls. That's great. You know, get a bunch of footballs and have that shit shoot balls to you. And you know, and his son came to him and said, "Hey, they don't want to play no more." What can you say? He's like, I was like, even telling him, you know, you could tell him like, you can't have a car unless you play football. And he was like, okay, I guess I ain't driving. You know, he said, I guess I'm not driving. Which I have no, you know, he was gonna be a G about it. So, It's just good for active lifestyle. And as I was saying last night, I say most nights, no matter what you think this is, we have the magic as each individual to make it as positive as we can by just our will and living your life with your will. And that's not free will. That's just your will to keep moving, to keep seeking, to keep being. Not being free, but just being. You know, with no contract, nothing connected to it. And then you make out what your reality is by being the best and doing the best that you can do. Don Juan DeMarco, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
You've been hearing about a lot of fathers not wanting their sons to play football because of the whole CT thing. Man, that's real. I mean, I think my son, like my 20-something-year-old son, I'm pretty sure he had a couple concussions as a little boy football. And he didn't play in 9th, 10th grade. He tried, or even 11th. He tried to play as a senior. He tried to play in 11th. Or maybe he tried to play in 12th when he hurt his leg. I don't know. He just didn't have it in him to, it wasn't mature enough. His maturity didn't kick in soon enough for him. But one thing that like my son has learned is, the healthy lifestyle. Even his older brother. They've both learned to have a healthy lifestyle. Walk, be active. And that's one thing he's definitely picked up from me. When we all started playing pickleball, we all started playing together. And so, we both, we was living together still. He was still living with me. We were both looking at what we were eating, buying better things for us both to eat. And like we both kind of cut out, fake sugars all like together. And I had to ask him how long ago that was. I couldn't tell you last time I had a soda. You ain't never seen me on any of these shows, even my other channel that was back from 14. You never saw that channel where I had a soda. I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, yes, beer. I don't know if even wine. Well, thank you for coming in. And that's, it is definitely an argument that a responsible parent would make. And that's why I've said I really think that football fires contact shouldn't come until freshman year. And 7-on-7 up to then. And really, 7-on-7 goes like once football season ends, 7-on-7 continues. And really the only way to really is let the linemen do it too. That's what I would do. I would let the linemen do it too. Let everybody do 7-on-7. So we'll see. Because the pounding of the heads is just, and it's like when I think back at it, it's like coaches were really sadistic about it. I mean, they really were sadistic about it. It was like, they wanted to see more collision as you being punished. And that was mortality. I was saying, when I was my senior year, like my junior year in high school, somebody died like the 2 previous summers because not having access to water and playing football. And so, my last year in football, we had a water horse, just constant water. And I go to A&T and they giving us this bullshit Gatorade every 15 minutes, little tiny cups. And I never understood that. It was 100 and something at first, man. When I went down there that first summer, it was 100 and something at midnight. So, but I just never understood the joy and breaking down of wanting to, break the players down. I never understood that. Even when I coached and didn't have enough people and I had to help the children, I played a lineman and, blocking techniques against them. I'd bring a forearm pad or have a dummy and, blocking techniques against them so they would have some kind of understanding on the contact. And that is a great way, to get to understand the contact. And now it's so much hand fighting. But unfortunately with the lineman, it's still a lot of head on head. And, it's a lot of hand fighting. It's a lot of boxing, all this. I mean, people don't understand it. And remember, I can probably find a picture where the lineman had to block like this. They didn't really change that, I think, to the early 90s. Maybe mid-late 80s. Linemen had to block like this. Defense could slap you upside the head. They could do anything. But all the linemen could do is this. And then finally, I think maybe mid-80s, they changed the lineman can finally lock out. You had the right to lock out on him. Which to me is fair. Because it was so unfair where you could slap him upside the head. So, I mean, the rules have really changed. It used to be so much of advantage for defense, especially when you look at Deacon Jones, look at his play. And the way they could bump and run, hit a receiver the whole way down. That slows you down. Dudes pushing your hand, fighting you as you're trying to run. There's an advantage to that, so they took all that out. Whoa, they took all that out. Oh, man, it's 41 degrees. You guys always know how I break down the weather. So I don't know. Depending on late, it's going to be 66 today. Check this out. So 66 today. Yeah. So it's going to be fairly nice all week. Now look at this. 66. And then this week, Sunday, 34. But basically livable. Basically livable. This is lovely. So can't argue. Can't argue. It looks like we'll get another cool spell at the end of going until the 18th, 19th. So I am agreeable with that. And I like the break. I'm one to probably understand that this summer is probably going to be a bear. So I am one to understand that. Who is this? Pig Destroyer. Now, who is this guy? Well, this is the morbid hour part of the show where we just had a big award show, so why are they killing the celebrities? Pig Destroyer Blake Harrison has passed away. Who is he? Oh, what is Pig Destroyer? Grindcore band from 2000. Tentacles of God. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see more. Harrison was confirmed. Death has been a shock. Industry appears already in tributes. Metal band. It was heavy hearts. We have to say goodbye. Blah blah. Yeah, it wasn't for enthusiasm. Fans pray tribute. Monroe Mall. I don't know what that is. Okay. All right. So we can probably say that is from the Grammys. I can definitely say that's probably Grammy related. No doubt. And let me see. I think this will give us all the winners right here. And I'm not surprised. Oppenheimer, it was good. I don't like the story of Napoleon. I think they emphasize. Okay, Emma Stone won before the chick won. This is who won. Emma Stone won supporting actress. I think Emma Stone won supporting actress instead of the chick from Killer of the Flower Moon. She might have early carriage. Poor Things won. Yeah, she won over Killer of the Flower Moon. I didn't even see Poor Things. So that is messed up. They gave that to her. Oppenheimer, Ramshot. And, oh, yeah, they got it for Barbie. They got the song. This is all Barbie got. This is how much they respect Barbie, y'all. They gave Barbie song, Remember they gave Eminem one of those. Okay, I'm Just a Ken performance. I didn't see that. Emma misses poor categories. What else is in here? Robert, yeah, he deserved this. He definitely deserved this. He did a really good job in Oppenheimer. And I said that. You can go back to my show. I stand on that. I put that on wax then. I said I would not be surprised if he won. The Zone of Interest. Anatomy was the best. International film was called Anatomy of a Fall. Naked Wears Nothing. Oh, get out of here. Why? Emotional Barbie song. Anatomy of a Fall. Takes Oscar screenplay. Anatomy of a Fall won the screenplay. Takes home supporting actress. So they gave support. Okay, instead of giving it to the Indian lady, they gave this to her. Supporting actress. Starting to call off when they're getting supporting actress for amazing performance in The Holdovers. Wow. Wow, they gave it to her. Okay. I ain't mad at that. I didn't see it, but okay. Let's see. Messy. No Oscar dog side. Folks grab some last minute. Good place. All right. So I'm not surprised. I like watching. I'll watch Oppenheimer over and over again. And the story is a little whack. I'll be the first to say, but the optics is so good, and the way they shoot it is just superior, and I'm sold on it. I enjoy it. I love the way that Napoleon was shot, but I don't like the story. He was too brilliant to just break him down to say all he was about was just worried about his wife. Yeah, my coach was bugging, definitely. Billy is Billy. Yeah, indeed. They've been showing purple like crazy on the world stage. Well, and don't forget about the magenta. Always showing the magenta too. Always the magenta too. Seems like they push these colors on us to, get certain reactions. We think the color has always been around us, so they could add it to our skyline and add it to all these places, and you think it's natural. Like I pointed out where it's in John Wick. John Wick tries to get on the train, and all of a sudden his background is magenta. That's how they add it. And I'm wearing coral, coral. So, those things do, they subconsciously, affect us all. Yeah, you can see magenta everywhere. In the sky, when I'm taking my daughter home, the sky is magenta. So, and it seems, they artificially put these colors out. Like the way you buy clothes and stuff, they push stuff out. I look at clothes and trends and I try to guess, but it's sometimes, people don't change as quick. People accept it. It's like, and so you look at one thing, you say, people are probably going to move into this direction with it, and they don't. And like one thing you can see, like the way Nike does, and I don't know how Jordan Brand is tied into Nike. I'm not sure. Are they separate where you can, separately pay Jordan stock, or is it all under Nike? I don't know. But you can definitely see, the way when they release shoes and the way the stock and the way the market reacts to the shoe release. There's always movement when a new shoe is released. And so that's a way you can kind of gauge. If you're a sneakerhead, you can kind of gauge the business too. Yeah, Emma Stone beat the sister. That is terrible. That was a great performance. Killer of the Flower Moon is so hard to rewatch. I don't care what anybody says. It's a hard watch. If you have any empathy, it's like I really couldn't watch Emmett Till again. One time I couldn't watch that shit again. And I don't care what happened, real or fake. And the Killer of the Flower Moon is the same way. And just the way they did it, right in their face, depending on these people, but behind their back, secretly murdering them, slowly poisoning them. And that seems to be the old world way to kill people was poison them. And a lot of people, if you read the book, a lot of people got poisoned by alcohol. They drink. That's why they show one guy. But a lot of people, just shot in the head, just killed. Nobody at first was investigating them. And it's too many stories like that. It's the same thing. Like I'm one of the few that talk about what happened when they talking about the red summer of 1919. Well, what happened is, all these brothers came back from fighting in France. And, you know, if you don't think that European people were very nervous about this, I think it was 300,000 people that went to France. And we know many towns that brothers just got lynched. You know, they was wearing their uniforms home, and we found that, you know, the Klan or the locals would lynch them in their uniforms. And they started telling them, don't wear your uniforms home. You know. So, so as these troops settled in these cities, you see the riots breaking out with these people, where you can see that these people are selected. And, you know, you say, oh, well, maybe, just maybe. But no, if you look at, you know, not only were they individually killed, they were killed as groups under the guise of riots. Look at Chicago. Look at the riots in New York. And remember, you know, one thing that you got to look at that hits more recently is World War II was the same way. You probably had more people even trained. I bet 1 million brothers and sisters, but brothers alone. I mean, we can easily look up the numbers if somebody wants to. How many brothers and sisters actually fought, or brothers? Shit, it was in the hundreds of thousands. And you see the same thing when they come home. You see little race riots, the soldiers getting killed. Because again, these men were experienced killing Europeans with no fear. And, you know, deacons of defense, you know, we saw a different mentality come too. Because some of those people became the deacon of defense. You had the brother up in North Carolina. So, you know, there was a little different mentality, but they still did come after these people. So, the blue and the lines. The CDC logo has the chemtrails. And that dude who said he was hired to put chemtrails, he did the movies like cartoons. Well, I'm going to tell you, you know, my experience with chemtrails. And this is not a made up thing. This is what I really thought. As a little boy, when I would see chemtrails, what I thought was chemtrails were where the people sat. Because I got on a plane at 2 years old, so I understood the concept of flying. So when I was 4 and 5, I still understood what a plane was because I had been in a plane at 2. But that was my idea. Where we sat, from my viewpoint, it looked like people sat in the chemtrails. And so for anybody to say that it didn't exist when I was a little boy, I would tell you that did exist. There was an exhaust that would come off of planes, and in my little boy mind, that looked like where the passengers sat. And it was chemtrails. It was chemical trails that came out of planes back then. So it's not, it's not a new memory, Now, even though to see where it's been more active, it's been more active for the last 20 years. I would say, more active as I live here than when I lived in Michigan 20 years. Seems a lot more active here. And again, I ain't lived in Michigan for almost 20 years, so, don't remember a lot of those skies. So, but I just looked at the way they did it. Because, like, when I lived in the hood, I could see where they, like, would hit the hood, more than when I lived in other parts of the cities. You would see it like it was a sweeping. And so I don't know how, any other way to explain like that. That's what I can tell you I experienced. It seemed like they swept certain areas with these chemicals if you looked at the way it was applied. Because it's always they come, and then it just, again, they can create clouds. They may have been able to create clouds for a long time. So that's nothing new. I mean, hell, they've been able to make it rain since right after World War II. Several floods you can look up. What's your favorite movie of the year, Adon? It's over. Um, is Dune the first movie I saw this year? I think Dune is the first movie I saw this year. Maybe you can remind me, but I think Dune is the first movie I saw this year that I got to see. So I don't. Yeah, that's the only movie I think I have seen was Dune. Yeah, because I think everything else was before New Year's. But maybe I saw one in January. I don't remember. But I think Dune was the latest movie I saw. So it was definitely the latest movie I saw. But I don't know. I mean, what I have to look my shows up. I'd have to look my shows up to see which one was the last movie I saw. And I don't know. So far I like Dune, but I was just disappointed in the second part of the movie. Second part of the movie was disappointing. That's all. 2 hours good in the second part. And that's why I was like rewatching Dune 1, and it gives a lot more of the story. I mean, the 80s, sci-fi is cheesy, but the story is definitely more story. Well, I guess I can highlight it again. You can go over if I missed anything. You can go over what I said about the show. And without that offhand, the good parts of the show is definitely the action. His integration into the fighting force of the what are they, the Freemans, like almost Freemen, the Frems, whatever they call them. And that interaction is like a good interaction. The Freeman. And how Paul becomes connected to them. But it's bogus too that he was the people, because remember when his father's forces come in, it's because of the Baron, their beef with the Baron. The Baron's people is put out, they're in, and the Baron is sabotaging them. That's the first story. The Baron's put out of collecting the spice. They come in, but the idea is the Baron and the Emperor want to sabotage them, so everybody fights, Atreides. That's the story. And so this kind of tells you the after effects that, they got beat by the Emperor and the Baron. So what he overcomes them both. But it's again, it's like he has a dude like Morpheus. Because it's funny, the guy in the original one, I'm like, okay, that's the character trying to figure what characters out. Like, okay. And I'm going to try to find the TV series too. Because Dune was like a 4-day event one time. And it was very similar to what, and probably, the graphics were a little better. Because the graphics of the 80 ones is very cheesy. I mean, it's fucking, 80, 81, 82, 83, somewhere in there. It's a very old movie. But, so that part I thought was a little off. Then the way they make his mama becomes what do they call her? The house mother, the high mother, again, outsider. The person that died, each place, it took a native to die for first the dude, because that's how the movie starts, is, remember he kills the brother and he takes the brother's place. That was kind of how it had to go. And so I thought that was foul. And then, when he connects to the worm, it's the biggest worm of all time, So all these things, I don't know. And then, when you get into Finn's story and like Batista's character, I forget what the other nephew's called. When you get into their story, it's not like in one, it's integrated. Like, Sting being the Emperor's nephew is integrated in the very, first act. And the way they do it in this one, Finn, like Batista is already there and he's fighting. That's who Paul is fighting. He's fighting Batista, and he's defeated Batista is the way they wrote the story. The Batista character, the Baron's other nephew, he's defeated him. And that's where Finn comes in. And as I said, it's lazy writing, because if you look at the movie King Henry, it's the same scene. You know, King Henry, they both got long swords and they in armor and they fighting in the mud. Then you go to Dune, there Willy Wonka is again fighting a dude and they got short knives. He's fighting Elvis Presley, the Elvis Presley dude. You know, if you didn't know, that's Finn. So I don't know, y'all. So action is good. The first 2 hours is good. It's just the way they develop the Finn character. They halt one story to keep developing the rest to Finn character. It's like they have the fake fight where, you know, Finn gets they have Atreides to fight Finn and they drug two of them and then Finn has to just fight one. Well, he's supposed to be fighting three, but he just fights one. So, but it's good. It's worth seeing. I might go see it again. You know, might go see it again. So I haven't decided. So, and we're getting into, you know, NFL draft is coming pretty quick. But it's funny, you know, big awards and not seeing, you know, too many other people that have passed. But we've seen people the last couple of days because we know, you know, star deaths always come with awards. But, you know, if you're nominated for Academy Award, that's a lifetime achievement. So that doesn't really go anywhere. And, you know, another part of Dune is all the space stuff, you know, that's, you know, it's Star Trek, Buck Rogers. Oh, what is this? I didn't hear about this. Ex-college football player killed his mother thinking she was an intruder. What? Former college mistakenly shot and killed his mother at home they shared in Missouri. He suspected she was an intruder when she tried to enter through the back door. Jalen was charged with involuntary and with armed criminal action with the death of his mother. Wow. Attorney said he believed his mother was an intruder when she attempted to enter her home around 7:30. He hasn't stopped crying. Wow. Life-saving efforts. So they probably was having people, you know, harass him and stuff. So that's so sad. They probably was having people harass him. And when you're being harassed, you know, and scared, because what it was an irrational act. So that's what makes me think he was living in that environment. So sad. That's why I was saying, you know, you can't just randomly shoot. You've got to understand firing lanes and, you know, the bullets have your names. And that is a fact. So, yeah, you can shoot somebody, but you better hope that bullet stops in them and doesn't go across the street and hit somebody because it's not fair to the other people. And, you know, I've told many times, you know, New Year's Eve, I was so irresponsible just shooting up in the air and the bullets come down, even though there's mostly, you know, birdshot. But, you know, still, even buckshot, goes shot in the air, you know, it comes down. So, you know, I was not responsible because it was just, what do you call it? You know, that's what we did that was the culture. That was tradition that everybody shoots their guns. We get together and we all shoot the guns. We bring the New Year's in with a bang. And that's what we did. That is actually what we did, but it's not responsible. I'm going to show a little bit of ancestral production while I get up and go pee. Oh, I think he has a new video. He does. So I stand up. I've only been going, I'm almost 2 hours. I need to stand up. I haven't listened to this, so we'll let my man chop.
You see the title, The Much Deserved Demise of Western Imperialism. Got a nice cartoon over here to go with it. Supposedly, this cartoon is over 100 years old by cartoonist Bob Miner, and it's just depicting the West's realization that they're not top dog anymore. And we see that happening with BRIC, the Global South. And I noted before that the real question is, how violent is it going to get before the West accepts that they're not top dog anymore? That they can impose their will on everyone? That they are basically in this situation that this cartoon is depicting. They're facing, they used to be able to control their competition, and they can't anymore. And they've sat and told themselves lies about how they're smarter than everyone, their myths about their racial supremacy, etc. And they are being passed up already been passed up by China. And now we see that, and Africa's on the horizon. Believe that. We have the most robust population, and regardless of the projections of poverty, we are going to infiltrate every area of science, every area of expertise. Our people will be coming, and I suspect we are going to reach our potentials, which has always horrified them. They've had to take measures to keep us from competing, just like they've tried to do with the rest of the globe. It was a poor thought plan, and they've never learned. I've showed you that before. Their societies are extremely short, about 250 years. And if we go by 1776, we're looking at 2026 or so. It's projections for Western cultures, for European cultures. You're looking at it here. Not one of them was over 250 years that we're looking at there. And we have some there's some influence from other non-pale populations, but this is generally the societies that they claim and where their ways have dominated. And in recent history, there's not a lot of ancient history here, but, well, they don't exist in ancient history. That's another story, because they're not ancient as the peoples they define themselves by. But yeah, they've never checked their greed, and they're paying for it again. And they think they can bully everyone. So I repeat the question: how violent is it going to get before they accept it? I suspect they'll be really violent. But you can't. They're not in a position to do that anymore. Thankfully so. I'm very glad for it. No one's more deserving. And it's not just non-pale populations that are waking up. The working class is waking up. And I encourage it. We need more working class, and especially the rednecks, because the rednecks could really get things turned up as far as an awareness of our government being taken over by a foreign entity, of the Zionist lobby, as far as worker exploitation, all of that. We're starting to see bits and pieces of it come to the surface. And we can see it in Britain with George Galloway's election recently, far left. And if we look at it, upset them, the establishment, a great deal. Here, I'll just read off from here. George Galloway's victory was described as beyond alarming by conservative Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Yeah, because they're not controlling the status quo anymore. So when we see the 20%, up to 20% in Minnesota protest vote of uncommitted with Biden, we're seeing bits and pieces of the demise everywhere. Yeah, I couldn't be happier about it. So this video here from the Geopolitical Economy Report is a good one if you're interested in how the West used to control the rest of the world and how that's come to an end. I'm not doing a projection of what could be. It's that time is already here. The whole idea that they call America a democracy is just, it's so arrogant and hypocritical. And we can expect that from a nation like this. If you take a good and honest look at America's foreign policy, what it's always been imperialism. It's always been human lives are expendable to reach whatever their capitalist endeavor dictates. This lie of a democracy that they've wanted to indoctrinate our children into believing. The information age has put an end to all of that. They are in a precarious situation that they deserve. I don't know how many of you watched Genocide Joe's State of the Union. Then I did, and tried not to feel too much emotion with it. Especially considering, as I said last week's video, I was honest about that. I hate him. It hasn't went away. And I do a lot of meditating and a lot of self-awareness practices. It's part of it's my life. That's how I live. And there's an ember burning with this Gaza slaughter that the hate is organic as fuck. And I just have to, I hate feeling that way, because I know that hate burns both ways. It's unhealthy, but it's what I feel. It's what I feel towards the Zionists. It's what I feel for Biden, who could stop it at will and refuses to. The whole image of him eating ice cream, all of that. He's a despicable, loathsome, pathetic man. And
Well, if you want to hear more of that good stuff, that is my main man, Ancestral Productions. It is called, let me see, Can I like it here? Yeah, right here. It's called Ancestral Productions Online. It's his channel, and go over and subscribe to that brother if you want to get some more of that good world news about how we are being manipulated. This is my ligum, the black ligums. And it's a very porous stone. You know, it's connected to Shiva, and mostly the creator energy of Shiva. I mean, it's a very again, it's being porous. It can absorb. You know, it's a really calming stone. It's like as I'm rubbing it, you know, it's pieces is coming into me. You know, it's like you know, it reacts very well to you. Probably a little bit of dust, but you know, it really reacts to. And I like these. I've had the brown ones, but these appear to have a greater focus if you can get them like these. You know, for a while they didn't get these. Now you can get these. So it's something cool. So I just want to give you that. I dig that brother, and that's one way I can show support to him. Is by, you know, showing people his work. Where am I at here? Yeah, so it doesn't look like any debauchery locally, which is good. You know, as we come into Monday morning, you know, early, late winter, late winter, which, you know, thankful. So is this recent? I don't know, because it doesn't show me anywhere else. Oh, somebody hit an Amish? When is this? It's rough.
Look.
That is rough. Somebody hit. How do you hit an Amish buggy? Oh, that's I think I did. It was twins or something, wasn't it? Let's see what they say. Who hit the Amish? Is this the story I did already? Who hit the Amish people? Let's see.
And a van in western Wisconsin. 9 people, including a 6-month-old, died. A toddler is the lone survivor. And the people in the van were part of an Amish community in southwestern Virginia. And as Fox 9's Rose Schmidt tells us tonight, their neighbors are now rallying around them.
As investigators in Clark County, Wisconsin, pieced together how this crash on Highway 95 left 9 people dead, a community hundreds of miles away in southwestern Virginia is grieving.
It has been the most devastating thing this community has ever went through.
The population of Berks Garden, Virginia is about 300, and nearly half of them are Amish. Their information line says 7 of the crash victims were part of their community. The members of the Byler, Schrock, and Hertzler families ranged in age from 6 months to 44 years old. A little boy, not yet 2 years old, survived, but lost both of his parents, sister, grandma, and 2 aunts.
I mean, you can say, I'm sorry, but that doesn't cover the loss of somebody. And when you are one person and you've lost your wife, 2 children, your son-in-law, your grandchild, I mean, what do you say to that person?
Jody and Sarah White say their hearts are broken thinking about these families whose children they watched grow up.
And the Amish community is a community of people that would give you anything that they have to give.
With that in mind, they've spearheaded the effort to raise money and collect donations. Their trunks full of paper plates, utensils, and water. Things the Amish community will need as they prepare to welcome thousands to the area for support and the funeral services.
The faith and the strength that's being displayed by this group of people right now it's unmatched.
Meanwhile, the Amish community's information line says the driver of the van was 45 and lived in nearby Pounding Mill, Virginia. Wisconsin authorities say the semi-driver was also killed. And the Amish community in Virginia called this a tremendous shock, saying no words can explain their loss. GoFundMe has been set up to help support these families.
Damn. 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 That is like, wow. That is wow. Tremendously sad. Tremendously sad. Yeah, that is like, man. Gophers lose to Michigan, the women. They must have, I don't know if they're in the tournament or not. I'd have to look it up. Preparing for the eclipse. Hopefully, I'm going to go on to the mounds, take it to the hills. Yeah, so yeah, that's like, oh yeah, and baseball season's coming upon us. Said we kind of looked at tickets on the 19th. I think that's the next home game, so we might go to home game. But I want to see what's his name, Davis. I want to go see him at the comedy club. He's gonna be here next month, so I would rather do that because all this shit be expensive, y'all. Going out ain't cheap. Going out is not cheap, but it's worth it. You know, stimulate your mind, go out, do things. Yeah, I think during the time of it, I'm gonna go over to the mounds. So, man, I don't know. My son probably won't be working, but that's what I think I'm gonna do is go over there. Excuse me. So that's the plan, is to go on the mounds, take a little music with me, some of my drums and my bowls, and go over there and chill. And be on top of that energy. And that energy is on where what do you call it? Where the Lake Minnesota River and what is it called on the Wisconsin side? That Wisconsin River comes into the Mississippi River. They all, what is it, conclave? They all come together. And that's right above where the mounds are. So that's why the mounds were chosen. I mean, they're literally above where these three rivers come together, where the two rivers feed into the Mississippi in downtown St. Paul. So it's kind of cool. It's caves and shit. The motherfucking old gangsters would have parties in the caves, had their booze in the caves. I think I did a story a couple weeks ago where some dudes was lost in some caves. They had to go save a motherfucker. They went down there hey, there's a nigga stuck down here, and they had to go down there and get him. Wouldn't have to worry about me being stuck like that. I went into a 30-foot manhole at work one time, and that was enough. It's did you ever want to go in a cave? No. I can still feel it. It's like I told the story before about my great grandfather, and this cat he had some kind of fetish where he just liked jumping into wells, and I had to really mentally try that to see why he loved it, and it's really a quite grounding experience, being in that well and the water's fresh and the water's coming from earth. And he didn't feel confined. Most people and me, I feel confined like a mug. But then, I was feeling his energy and what he was feeling. I was like, And there's always a rope. They can always get you out. And I guess, he kind of got a cold the last time he came out. That's what they say. He got a cold. Maybe he's down there too long. He got cold and his ass was still down there. You get old, 60 years old ain't, when you're young, it's different. But I understood. I had to feel that. There's a wholeness with that, no doubt. There's a wellness with that. So, yeah. But those were, old tales. Yeah, so good. It's not a lot of local debauchery, which means good. The world needs to just be left alone sometime, where people just, and that's, that was the biggest thing of after COVID, what were we supposed to look like as normal? What would be normal? And you remember they try to give you the spells, the new normal and shit, hitting you with the spells. It depends on where you live. Where you live up in Connecticut, you might be able to see a part of it. where you live. It's gonna hit. It's let's see. Let me see. Trying to find clips area. Maybe this will bring up something. Let's see. No, that doesn't help me today. Trying. Oh, I think. So, this just gave me a flight pattern. So where you live is the mount you'll be able to see of it right here, April 8th. All right. It's pretty quick. Let's check it out again. Lost it. Bogus. Where'd it go? Where did it go? That was really bogus. It took it away. Let's get that going. I think this is it. The other one didn't have a commercial, so this ain't it. I think it's going to do the same thing. The way it's hitting. I guess it's going to hit like this. This is South America. Time of totality. That's really a deep concept. I mean, that's really hitting you with the energy. This is kind of cool. Hope they don't hit me for this. This is cool. Here we go. How it's hitting America. Where the people that are in the heart of it. I mean, you can really soak up some energy. You the ones that get hit with this. It's a good time for it to come over you. This is ley line shit too. This is fucking with the ley lines. So, yeah. It ain't gonna really hit me. But Chicago, looks like Chicago gonna get a little bit of it. Let's see, is it gonna go? Yeah, Kokomo. Looks like Kokomo's gonna get a little bit of it. Fort Wayne, Indianapolis. How much in Michigan? A little bit of Toledo. Shit, Jeffrey, where you live, you'll probably be able to get in touch with a little more. It's coming over your area. All right, thank you. Please don't strike me for that. Thank you for showing us how that relates to us. And so that energy is there. So on the 8th, yeah. And I've said before, that was a way we learned as civilization. Whoever's responsible for some of the picture glyphs, then the petroglyphs was made to move during, eclipse. And so the people would gather. And that was a way, some kind of way to give a message to the people were through eclipse. They would sit with these clips and these petroglyphs would come, and it gave the people a little more knowledge about civilization. And it seems like through these meeting, these yearly kind of rituals, humankind got smarter and worked together. So there was, a lot of things working with them to get that done. It's going over fault lines too. Yeah, you're in a good area, definitely. I don't see it live. People doing it. Yeah, so I'm quite a ways away from it. But still, you know, I'll where am I at? Oh, good. Okay, cool. Where am I here? Okay. And so the energy is there regardless, you know. And the first one I showed where, you know, we would be affected, the time we would be affected. I probably could go into my history and find that. See if I can bring that one back up. See if, yeah. Okay. Now this one showed like see what you have to understand, like even when it's a full moon, like regardless of you're in the house or not, it comes by and over you. So the energy does come and affects you. The heavens does a lot around you that affects you, that just, you know, you don't practice it, but it's being practiced. Just because you don't practice mean it ain't being practiced. So when this energy is released like this, you know, that's why they're showing this map that everyone is getting a taste of it. So don't hit me for this, please. Don't hit me. I'm sharing your work. I won't play anything. So this showing how when it comes through the different parts, how you are affected. See? So everyone, everywhere is affected. So that's the good thing. So there's energy being released. Take a bite, plug in. Thank you. Take a bite and plug in. Let me definitely like this. Thank you, Transparencies. I subscribe to you. Thank you for doing that. And when it's released, we all, you know, we all can tap into it. And whatever it can lead you to, you know, at a given time. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever it can lead you to at a given time. That's you know, it's an individual thing. So, but it's a mass amount of energy released. So sit back and dig when it comes. It's like the same thing with the full moons, you know. And you know how I do the full moons. I take them seriously and I try to spread that energy. Because, you know, it's like what happens is, and especially, you know, people my age, it's like I've been hit with so much propaganda in my life, you know, and like when they talk about Malcolm and what they produced to Malcolm, you know, the hate that they produced, you know. And I don't think I hope y'all appreciate it. In my monologue, I give you Richard Pryor and Malcolm, their voices, you know. And, you know, so the way that you're taught, it's like you have to go back and look at it and say, okay, well, a lot of this was propaganda and not really, you know, true the way it's presented. You know, you study Malcolm and you see a lot of things that wasn't quite as his book, because his book is the one he wrote with an FBI agent. And, you know, Alex Haley, we know, you know, he got sued over Roots and lost, but yet he wrote Malcolm X's book and he was an FBI agent, if you didn't know that. Yes, Alex Haley, who wrote Roots, was an FBI agent who was on Malcolm's case. And he wrote the book in Malcolm's words. So we had people, you know, again, Malcolm was just as much controlled opposition. And, you know, one thing you can look at a parallel between, if you look at Malcolm and you look at Fred Hampton, I mean, they were both dealing with grants and stuff. Malcolm and the Nation of Islam was getting grant money too. You know, they had grant money probably from the 20s or 30s, whenever Noble Drew Ali took over, you know, because remember what Elijah did and then did Farad, they started in Detroit. And then they took over basically the same area that Noble Drew Ali took over. I think it's the same temple that Noble Drew Ali, they got that temple. So, you know, and they were once with Noble Drew Ali. which is a very interesting character because you can break him down where, he came from the circus and everything. So, but not to say that some things that he presented wasn't deep. My brother gives a great breakdown. I need to get him back on here and let him give a breakdown of it because he does a great breakdown of what's being applied, how America and especially the churches used one of his policies, and townships. He was they used some of his policies to create townships off some things he advised because he saw it. He was like, brothers, this is what the brothers need to do. And then, we see, Elijah Muhammad move from Detroit to Chicago, take that over. And we see just the same way, like people gravitated to Garvey. If you do the history, Islam in Chicago really didn't take off until Malcolm. I mean, it didn't take off with Americans until Malcolm. And it's funny, like Malcolm's movie only shows the one scene where the young man, tries to join. And I told you, my roommate was from Bedford-Stuyvesant. Connie Hawkins was a little older than him. Vietnam vet, but as a teenager, going to the Nation of Islam, being in the fruit of Islam, working out with Malcolm as he was a young teenage boy and Malcolm was grown and would work out with the fruit of Islam in New York. So, this is what made people join this charismatic just as much as King. And he went around the country and set up temples. And so it really wasn't about generating bread for him, like the Southern Christian leadership and King. It was, they was trying to get these grants and, keep getting these tax breaks. Malcolm was about building communities through the Nation of Islam. Now, it's positive and negative. We all know that it was a thug unit that probably was responsible for killing Malcolm, and they hid it. We know that. And I reported on where it was a killing in New Jersey of a Muslim, So, and you just makes you wonder, was that and it wasn't the guy who, they protected in New Jersey who killed Malcolm or shot the shotgun with him, which more than likely is a bunch of people probably shooting at him. But again, the people that plotted, So Elijah Muhammad and them, they sit there in their interview and said, well, they had nothing to do with it. Well, that wasn't quite true. They didn't plan it. But you can definitely look at the papers that Farrakhan took. Like Malcolm created Muhammad Speaks. Malcolm created that magazine, that newspaper. And they used it to attack him. They used it to get the members in the frenzy against Malcolm, no doubt. And you can look up, what Farrakhan had to say and attack on the paper. And Malcolm even says in his own book how they used it against him. And, harassed him, the threats. Death threats is no joke. And the people are powerful enough. Like Malcolm was trying to go into France and they wouldn't let him come in there. There was something they knew. They wouldn't let Malcolm come into France. And it's like people, I don't even know who I could compare this to. Like, think about this. Think about this. At one time, Jimi Hendrix was just as popular as Taylor Swift is now, where he was filling stadiums full of people. Stadiums. Jimi Hendrix was filling stadiums. And he's walking around England with not any bodyguards. Can you imagine that with Taylor Swift right now? Going from party to party without bodyguards. Jimi Hendrix is just walking around England, no bodyguards. None of the people around him thinks he doesn't think he needs bodyguards. Matter of fact, the girl that they say he ended up with, he was trying to avoid her. He had avoided her all night. And then finally she caught up with him early in the morning. So can you understand? Here was the most famous person in the world at the time, famous musician, and he had no protection from anybody. And so, the way they murdered him, they poured, wine. They bagged him with wine, you know, waterboarded him with wine. That's how they killed him. And it's hard to imagine that there was no one around him. And so it's people was complicit. There was people complicit with it. They let it happen. And Jimmy was trying to change his management. So, you know, it was a lot of that too, dirty tricks. And that's a part of the business, you know. And it's like, you know, I am right on with Janie Hendrix because, you know, Jimmy was cheated the worst of anybody ever. I mean, he was really cheated, like where he gets no bread. Like the bread he got was when he probably begged them to go buy, you know, he want a car every now and then, need some food, need a place, need more guitars. That was the kind of bread he was probably getting. They was probably hitting him off, you know, where Jimmy probably made 100,000. They was probably giving him 2,000-3,000, letting him blow it. Give the other cats. Probably give Jimmy 10,000, give the other cats 8,000. And they done made 100 and they taking it and hiding it. So right on, Jimi Hendrix. Anything, you know, you deserve it all. Your brother did all this artistic stuff, and the world just made a profit. So I like it. Thank you for letting me play a little bit. Richard Pryor family, you're another one. Thank you for letting me play Richard Pryor. Now, I don't know whose little thing that Malcolm is, but I think it's important. I like hearing Malcolm's voice. Because I think, you know, even more than King, to me, it's like he's really, you know, still a powerful person. My mother met him and just, you know things he was involved with, a couple of people that knew him, and just studying the person and how he carried himself. And, you know, one thing, you know, to a fault, you know, you get to sometime when people click up with organization, you don't understand that the organization that you build up could betray you and be jealous of you. And like what happens is like you see small things over the year. And the movie shows it too, where Baines, you know, but you see that. And I talk about how people just become so judgmental because they're living off the success of it all, but they're criticizing the way the success is coming because they're not being highlighted in the success. Now, there's these cats on the sideline of Muhammad's people all getting fat because of Malcolm's work, but yet they're mad because they're not getting the credit. Now, make that make sense. Do I like Lunar or soda? I don't know. Hey, James Gant, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Oh, excuse me.
Got to have vision.
You know, Jeffrey, I don't even know how to answer that. I don't know. I can't say that I put enough energy in it to know the difference of which one. You know, I don't even think it matters. I think it just matters that it's energy putting out and whatever, you can tap into it. So I don't know, you know, which one. I don't know. It's hard to answer that. It's other times of the year where I've connected deeply with something. It's like that time of year. It was maybe the winter of 14 or the winter of 15. I'm not sure where it was like the darkest day in 500 years. You know, I had a deep connection. You know, one of my guides, where one of my guides was able to really reveal itself. So it had nothing to do with eclipse or anything. It had something to do with like a solstice. You know. The longest night in 500 years and the darkest, not just the longest, but also the darkest fires, that gets getting into astrology. Everything is, kind of not shining in. And so I don't know, I don't know, Jeffrey. It's given freely, and it's a little bit I can tap into. And so, who's this? It is 3. Yes, it is 3. And I've been going, okay, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Okay, yeah, because I started late. Oh, my goodness, man. Yeah, it's a lot of sloppy people. You know, people get to working together and they want to backstab each other because they don't work together. And I haven't fallen for that trap. I ain't, you know, everybody I've worked with on this and other sites, it's like I ain't got nothing bad to say about y'all. I mean, now I'll say this, you know, I've said this before, you know, the people that I felt scam people, I said that. You know, and I don't take that back. But for the people that, you know, was just dealing fairly with me, I ain't got nothing bad to say about y'all. Seems like a lot of people like that kind of thing. They like the back and forth. And why get into that? You just move on. You know, you ain't got nothing to say about them. You just move on. That's all. And that's what life is about, is growth and moving. You know, not being stuck in a rut. That's why I say, you know, sometimes I don't even want to put out sports stuff, because that's what, you know, it becomes. You know, you truly do get boxed into. That's all they want you to do, is put out sports stuff. That's when they encourage your channel. If you do one thing, that's what they want you to do. Or from this channel, from the very beginning, you know, at times I'll just do this, and you know, I've even had to live myself doing this. You know, just coming out and you know, going over just life with people and experiences, you know, every night. The people that want to get this, that's what it's for. And so I think everything I say has, you know, value. And I give it freely. I don't ask anybody. I don't know, maybe I should ask everybody to go offline and play the Tighten Up. I remember seeing Archie Bell with a microphone in the parking lot in Greensboro of the Trevi Fountain Club, and he tightened up. It was like somewhere they was giving free hot dogs away or some shit. I don't even remember, but Archie Bell tightened up. And, you know, I had known the song since I was a boy, you know. It's called Tighten Up. We got a new dance now that's called the Tighten Up. Man, I love the vibrations, y'all. And if you can't feel it, you can't feel it. And there's the vibration of the earth. You know, that's what you start hearing. You start hearing sound. You know, and you write your own story. And you know, like, it's so interesting. Like, the panicky situations make you write crazy stories. You know, you hear about some information, and all of a sudden you write the craziest story. You know, it's like you might write the most extreme story instead of like, yeah, well, it's not as bad as that. And I've watched others do that. You know, and in the years past, I've been guilty of that myself, where it's not that big a deal. So don't write the stories that are, you know, until you know everything. Because too often we want to write stories without knowing the full story of the information we're receiving, especially with loved ones. You know, the dreadful news, you know. But, you know, until you know everything, you know, don't write worse. Because that's what we want to do, you know, as creative people. Eric, what's happening? Thank you for joining.
Got to have vision.
I've been stuffy all night, but yeah, I have not been sick like the people around me in these nice days. So I'm gonna get out tomorrow a little bit. I know it's up, and I no way I'm gonna be at the court at 7 or 8. Just not gonna make it. Yeah, I'm not gonna drink all my beer either before I take my pills. But I still want to get up fairly early. Maybe I can catch some people playing. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I like this song. Oh, what's the new came out? I gotta listen to him. What's the new music, y'all? There's some new music came on. I saw it, and I gotta get that. Wow. Moray's Quicksand has had 212 million views in 3 years. Wow. That was, I hope, you haven't heard anything else bigger than that, I think, from that brother. But I love that song. I was rocking that, and before I knew it, my neighbors was rocking it. Oh, the Wear Testers did the Fruity Pebbles. Yeah, I didn't want them. Yeah, those LeBrons, man, I guess, they're gimmicky. Can't say I really like the gimmicky. Pretty plain. It's like it just feels good to feel good. I think that's the best thing I can tell everybody. It just feels good to be to accomplish and little victories. I think so often we have such big plans, like I did today. We just like going to get because I need a bookshelves because I got a ton of books. Just they need to be together. It's going to be easy for me to do research if they're together. And we're changing this room and we're changing that room, changing dressers, getting rid of a dresser. So we had to get a dresser. This motherfucker's solid as hell. And so my son's going to definitely have to help, see if I can help. I'm not very strong anymore. So, just little things like that, just getting little things like that done, little small improvements, that go to the whole. It's like, my wife is like, well, why can't my son sleep in my daughter's room? Because my daughter's not here as much, but it's still, that's the point is that's her space. Now, if a person comes for a day or two, perhaps they can, but that's her space. So this, he's gonna have to make do in this place here. It's just how it is. And he'll be happy to work and, have this. He know he's gonna eat. He knows that he's going to eat and things are going to be stable. And so I'm just thankful for him. Just thankful for him and, all my family, and I try to encourage all my people. Whatever you're doing, do it the best you can do it, but put effort in it. And that's, whatever you do, you have to put some effort in it. Because if you don't, it's like, they say, what you reap, you definitely do sow. There we go. But that's it. If you don't put effort in it and don't try to have a plan about how to go about whatever's put in front of you to get things done and don't procrastinate. Why does it feel like people have forgotten the last 4 years and what happened? Because it's not hard to like think about it like this. Even in other times, like think about how quickly they went from the Civil War to Jim Crow, civil rights. I mean, whatever 9/11, where everybody was super spooky. People change and people have short memories. And if they don't want people alarmed by it, they don't talk about it. They kind of make it go away. So people have short memories. And when people feel normalized, you dig? When they feel normal again, that's when the people feel, that's what people want. And anybody listening, and especially if you have children, you definitely feel this way. And 4 years ago made us feel this way, no doubt. Where we really felt that, like you want the generations behind us to be able to do at least what we did. And that's, that's the continued cycle. And I don't say that, I wouldn't say that is just, entirely going into reincarnation, not necessarily. Just wanting, your descendants to experience life. I mean, since my great grandparents, life has changed tremendously. Where we come from, people that wanted to work for themselves to people that just, didn't want to work for themselves. And didn't even leave it, didn't leave anything for the people that would want to try to work for themselves. Nothing was left for people to say, man, at least let me try this little bit. So that's another of the problems. For what you see now, that you see the gender is now, I feel it's changed. They couldn't get more. I mean, it's just a lot of different ways to look at it, but it's, it's definitely. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's definitely short memories, attitudes. I mean, right now, more and more people are wearing masks because it's people getting sick left and right still. My best friend, I hate I didn't give him a call all weekend because I know he was dealing with the flu. So I got to give him a call for sure tomorrow. Thought about calling him earlier and just didn't get a chance to do it. I'm seeing more and more people wear masks every day. So I don't know. They are pushing for the old tug of war. Well, it's like if you base on like the last election, um, you're going to see a lot of emotionalism those last few months. So going into next fall is really going to be a tricky time. You can just see. And I'm gonna say, I've said this before. I just watched the morning, my city where I live, morning police officers, and the way they gathered didn't make me feel part of who gathered and how they gathered. There's a look of that I know I'm not a part of. If those of you can understand me, like I was saying, when the Jeep's coming by, that doesn't look like something I'm a part of, and it's not that it's the Jeeps, but it's the flags and it's the attitude. So it's that attitude is out there, and that attitude is not for everyone. Is my point, and that's where ugliness could really come in, because it's this country is not afraid to show the ugliness. This country was founded on ugliness. It'll be very ugly. Like even this state, they put the Indians out and made it legal for them to come back. That's how dirty they were. They, 1850, 1830, Jackson made everybody y'all got to leave up out of here. Then you only had, was it John Horse was the only one that fought him and got his people free and land. He fought against Jackson and all them. He fought with Osceola. And he fought them all the way to Mexico, where his people got land and still live today. He was one of the few that was able to do that. Oh, still didn't save it for my pills. That was very trifling. So, the times. Hey, Jet Red, thank you for joining. But I'll say this,
Got to have vision.
But I'm gonna say this, it's funny. I never released a video about us going to the restaurant, and it's a restaurant. And I've told this many times before, and I don't want to lie and say the guy was my friend, but I knew the guy. I knew this guy that owned this restaurant before COVID, and he couldn't keep it open. Some of these other restaurants went to quite extremes, and some of them had bread. This dude, without working, is like he and I, it's a few years now, but it seemed like he had two restaurants, and this is a huge restaurant. So anyway, I reminded of him every time I go in there, but it's becoming one of my favorite places. And so, like last time we went in with my wife and my daughter, and I made a little video, and I was like, "This is what they do when you come in with a darkie." And I'm showing my wife, and I'm showing me and my daughter. And so, what did I have to do? What did I do? Maybe did I go to the bathroom? Maybe I had to go to the bathroom because I drank coffee before I went out, and didn't eat a whole lot, so I'm just peeing everywhere we go. But anyway, maybe that's what I did. I went to the bathroom, came back. So because I'm thinking we were gonna sit because it's like three little booths when you go by the bar. It's like the bar and there's three little booths. And then you can go back in the back room or you can go sit in the fairway. And so my wife is just cheesing when she sees me. When I look up and she sees me, she's just laughing because she knows I'm about to bust out because they put us like away from everybody again. And it's kind of funny. And I was like, see, I come with your darkies. They put you over here, so I gotta sit over here. But then as people came, they sat over. And there was a big party. Something in Prior Lake, some of the high school, it was a bunch of them. I mean, it was a group of about 20 people, if not more, of something with Prior Lake people. They had Prior Lake sweatshirts. I couldn't tell if it was hockey, what it was. And right now, this week we have the Big Ten tournament here. So if somebody has tickets, I might end up going to a game or two. So that's here this week. Trying to think what else is going on here. Not sure where the women are. The women are somewhere else. But this year the men Big Ten tournament is here. So I might go, might not. I know our tournament, I'm trying to still find that. I want to go to the high school stuff to see where they're at too. So I definitely want to go to the high school state tournament to see the talent. So how you gotta leave up out of here. I'm in my state. In my state, Italian restaurants that have pizza, a lot of the owners have sold to Mexicans. Now a lot of Mexicans are making pizza. That's interesting. Well, it's like a lot of Mexicans up here make the Japanese food, the Vietnamese food. Like where I go get Vietnamese food, it's Mexicans making the food. So I have no qualms about that. It's a place we just went to the other night that is a very close place to where I live. They made really good Mexican food, and it was all Mexican restaurant. Like the young waitresses didn't speak great English, but enough to get my food. But they had good food. So when I go out, we see a lot more, but. There's a lot of Europeans up here. It's about, I think it broke down to like 2 million, like 2 million Europeans up here and 1.5 million of everybody else. And I think it's 800,000 Hmong. Brothers and sisters is only 250,000 up here. And I think Africans total, it's only I don't know. I don't even know if it's 100,000 altogether. I'm not sure of all the Somalians and the other Africans that came here. But the Hmong is almost, I think, 1 million because they brought 500,000 here, and I think they're close to 1 million now. It's more Hmong here, and again, they live mostly in St. Paul. And you don't. I mean, a lot of people. But it's like that's what's beautiful about here too, because you see everybody here. It's just not one kind of people you see here. It ain't just black, white folks, and just black, white folks, Mexican. You see everybody. You really do see everybody when you go out. And so, it's very welcoming to all the different types of restaurants and all the types of food you can eat here. I mean, it's such a big mix. My wife and her people are into, trying the different places. So we go all around, and it's pretty cool everywhere you can go. And so if you like good food, you can definitely get good food here. I would say that for sure. So, and that's what life is about is, supporting your community, trying new things, and experience life with someone, learning and growing with someone And be it your job, your friends, I mean, whatever you have to build. I mean, because life is a community. And you talk about, we was doing with the gangsters stuff, and what it is, how much community do you have around you? And it does come into individuality. It's like I was thinking of just a story a dude spoke to me, earlier today, and it was just, just being cool, you know. Just spoke to me because he's another human. It's like, hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm smooth, What's that? And we don't have that a lot anymore. People don't care. And it's purposely like that, where we're not supposed to connect with humans, not on a large scale. They'd rather us isolate from each other, because together that's where the power comes from. No matter what kind of power, is economical, political, it's you can't get away from grouping together. This is a group effort, and I mean it's really an effort. And I watched this little area where I'm considering moving, and create their own community, their own town. And we need more of this. And I'm thinking about joining them. Buying land over there, and it's like, this is what you do where you live. And we're heavily considering that. What you say, Jeffrey? I just thought about with the United States of South America. and so that's where your power comes from. It's like, who can you trust? Like my best friend, I had a joke about borrowing money, and one time I hit him like, "Hey, I need to borrow some money." He didn't even hesitate. He said, "How much you need?" And I was like, "Man, no, I don't need any money." I was like, I was trying to tell you this joke, and I couldn't tell him. I forgot. I told him the joke, but it was like that's how we are with him. He, no hesitation. No hesitation. It's like, nah, I don't need no bread, man. You know me. But it was like, he just, that's what you need. And it's like the community is, if things really get a certain way too, helpful. That's the other part of it is. And that's where, I mean, really, and I know people may underestimate this, but like where you live, one thing that you want to prove where you live is that you're not drama. Now, if something happened to you and you got to get taken away from ambulance, that ain't really drama. I mean, everybody gets sick sometime. That's nothing. But to live somewhere and you peacefully, and they just see you doing positive things, and there's a lot more eyes on you sometimes than what you would think. But they look at you and what you're doing is positive. Then people have an easy time being a community with you if something comes up. Where people are like, you look like you know what you're doing. Or you're somebody we need the community with. It's like I talk about the Gipper and make fun of him, but the thing he showed about making them Russian type of stoves, I mean, people don't understand, like living up here, if cold hits and they really turned off the utilities, I mean, people would be forced to, you can't get any gas. You'd be forced to put these chimneys and then, trying to get dry wood. I mean, you'd be forced to really, and then try not to cut down too many trees in the area to survive. So there's a lot of ways that things can happen, They shut certain things down that, should be and could be considered. You're correct about communities. These people don't want that. They can't. Yeah, exactly. So, even if you don't know your neighbors, they know you by the way you carry yourself. And believe me, people watch. And if all you're doing is what you normally do, people are cool with that. And they, well, what does he do? Well, he walks around here every now and then, but he's always out there with that pickleball. That man is popping pickleballs all over. One time I thought he broke his window because he popped one that went all the way over the roof and shit. He was looking for it. The pickleball came, hit him in the head. He wasn't even mad about it. He just kind of laughed and he hit the pickleball up there again. But that's what being solid is about. Even my old place, I was like only kind of one time somebody really I felt disrespected me in a way that made me was like, hey, this is gonna be this way if it goes, and it didn't have to, but it's like I felt really disrespected, and it's like, yeah, this is about to go like this. But luckily, didn't have to be like that. Sometimes it's like your attitude is this, but it's like if it doesn't play out, then you don't have to be like that. If you really get what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, if this happens, this other, because like what they say, was there reaction, there's reaction. So if this happens, this is the response. It's like, this was just that simple. And none of that kind of happened. That was good. That was good. But, and at times we hate to be pushed to that kind of position. But sometimes you get pushed to that kind of position and you just got to have a certain attitude about it. No matter how old you are. You got Jeffrey. If someone doesn't get elected in the fall, do you see it getting crazy? Man, it's I don't know. I don't know. That last fake stuff up there protesting was also fake and manufactured. Said before, like my brother was in Michigan and Michigan was having their thing, and they was kind of shutting down, some of Michigan's transportation. It was nobody really serious there, and nobody, everybody's got weapons, but they was like, nobody was really serious, nobody threatening, none of that artificial kind of stuff, it, it, I think a lot of Americans are really fed up. I think that's what's going to go against Biden, and that's been proven in a lot of non-committed people in this state. I mean, it's like Trump won, and what won was non-committed to Biden. That's what won here. Non-committed to Biden. Voted, but non-committed to him. So we're going to see how, they have him more vibrant, which, new actors obviously playing him. But, the way they do everything, too, it's they play possum, make you think the motherfucker's stupid and he's slow, and all of a sudden they bring about around a new energetic one. So we see the acting in that. We see the one tripping and stuttering and stammering and stuttering. And then all of a sudden, you see one that he's just crispy and can get it all off. So, we can't be fooled by that. That's something that, is trying to fool us. That's all. It's almost like the jester. Really is. So, again, I think, there's only community, depending on whatever happens. And we can't, like really, it's like the realm of possibilities is so, I'm one of the few that talk about, man in the high castle. They do the fake losing to somebody. I mean, you know how easy it would be to say they lost to China, that China blew up all their boats? When we know they've got a submarine that fucking, it's been going around the world since the 50s. If not before then, they've got ships that run on so many different type of fuels that it's no way the Chinese have anything like that. So it technically from a tactical standpoint, it should be impossible to be defeated by them. And really, the race would be after we defeat them, who could rebuild the quickest. That would be the next fight. But in the first fight, but again, remember the man in the high castle was like lied about who won. And they could do that to the people very easily.
So, PJ, you see that dude saying Michael Jackson died in Vegas, but when Elvis died, they didn't want another star dying there, and Mike was replaced allegedly. Well, you know the thing about Elvis, Elvis was seen like 3 times in Kalamazoo when I lived there. You know, Elvis performed in Kalamazoo. I saw Elvis perform in Kalamazoo as a little boy. You know, I've told the story before. My friend's dad was an Elvis nut, and they camped outside to get the tickets. And he took me and John, and we went and watched fucking Elvis when I was 12, maybe. So they said that Elvis, after he died, was seen at Burger King, or no, excuse me, Burger Chef. Those of you remember Burger Chef. And then another reporter saw him in a local hotel. She wrote a book about it, apparently after he died. So it's not hard to replace people. I mean, they've been doing that like for a long time. Like, what did Elvis say? That he used to, do shows for Little Richard. And unfortunately, people look alike. Like, people look alike more than you would think. And my traveling, and I was saying, the ugliest people in the world is lives in Wisconsin, is a joke and real. But people look alike. And as I would travel, I would see variations of people I knew but different stages. And that's a weird thing to see, because it's like you see a older person version when they was younger. You see a younger person's older, like a younger person, but you see a version of them older. I mean, it's a really kind of interesting phenomena to see that. And there's some people that, you never see people that look like them. Like my ex-wife, she looked like a girl I dated before I met her. And I've never met 2 other people that look like them too. What is your opinion if we were to fight China and Russia? Do you think we would win? Why do you think we would win? Of course we would win. We would win easy. I mean, we would win easy, especially against China. I mean, really all they got to offer is really manpower. And, we would, it's like what happens next? What happens next? That would be the final problem after the fighting is like who would do what after the fighting. So yeah, we would wipe them out. Elvis wasn't wild. I mean, Elvis was like the music was good and loud, but it was like this really old dude that was like kind of beer belly-ish, kind of seemed out of it, not finishing songs, but was entertaining. He was going back and forth across the stage, but he wasn't, I don't know. I saw, and this had to be maybe the year that he died when he came. I'd have to look it up when he came to Wing Stadium. I think it was the year that he died. So it wasn't, I liked Elvis in the movies and shit. And I was a little boy. And when I was in college in Greensboro, and living in the dorm before dorms had cable, Elvis movies would come on when the NFL wasn't going or college football wasn't on, to be Elvis movies. But when I was a little boy, Elvis movies. So, and we used to skate to it's just a hucka burning love. But the Elvis I saw was like a big old dude that could barely move. he didn't have a lot of energy. It's cartoon. Some cartoon did get the cartoon Elvis, and that's the Elvis I saw. But it was just funny, people was camping out and shit. My friend's dad camped out and shit. I saw Alice Cooper up in that motherfucker too. Like it's like they was letting motherfuckers just bring bongs in that bitch. Like there was no seats on the floor, so everybody just could stand on the floor or sit in the seats in the stands. And it was like just big ass bongs in that bitch. Motherfuckers just firing up in that bitch, and they didn't seem to care through seeing Alice Cooper. I don't know. I saw a lot of music when I was a younger person. I don't know. I guess that was, it was. I think even my generations was like where local dudes was musicians and did some of the parties. Because I went to a few of the parties where it was dudes that's musicians. Shit, I got a homeboy that plays at the Biltmore Estate every year. The Biltmore Estate is where is it the Vanderbilts that built it and then gave it to the fuck up North Carolina or whoever they gave it to. But he gets to play there every summer. And so, he's a cat that, them little parties and stuff that would play live. So, smoking good indeed. I feel like in every state, Elvis looked tall. No, he wasn't that tall. He's only about 5'7", 5'8". A person that's double or a younger version or a super old version, just a different name. Yeah, yes, they do. I saw my lookalike in the '90s in Kentucky. He was just shorter, dude named Tim. Wow, you saw a guy look like you. My children look like me. Like my oldest son. If you looked at us, it's just the nose is different. So my children's look like me, but like my son sees people, and I haven't really seen a person that I was. But I'll say this, and this is for everybody for sure. I can tell people that come from my tribe though. And like I may not know them, but I know we come from the same family. I'm gonna say that. Like my father's father, definitely. I see people all the time. I'm like, yeah, I could just tell. It's like, yeah, we from the same tribe. And even like my mother's side of the family is not as often as I see that with my dad, but I can still even that when that comes. That's like, oh, okay. That's why I'm feeling the energy. It's like, oh, okay. This person is the tribe some kind of way. So that's another part is to recognize, and it's just a lucid living kind of thing too. It's not like you got to go know that person and stuff, and just like, okay, that seems like the family. That's what my family of people look like. And I ain't trying to get anybody to want to crack on some woman like, hey, you look like some of my family. Try to use it as a line. I'm sure that line has been used many, many times. My oldest has my ears. My youngest looks like a continuing coming of me, and they're my combination for me. And they tell me, okay, it looks like me combo. Okay, so how you see history is we have always been here. Well, I broke that down the other night talking about the layers of reality that have come to here. Like if we look at the different layers, and there's people that are connected to that first layer of reality that's closer to source here. So there's people that's still connected to that. And the way that fans out is, how much you're connected to each layer and what layer you're connected to, where your family starts. And that man, that's pretty complicated. But yeah, just that's a start. That's a start to see. Because like too often people try to say, well, you need to see your star family, what house or what moon house you're from. And it's I don't think it's quite that sophisticated. It's all led into the DNA that each of us are given. And so that's the deepest connection that you feel. And that's the extra information that comes. However, visions, whatever, it comes. That's how it comes. And so that's like if you want to see how ancient you are, that's how you would kind of go about it. You would see which one of those that you would connect with. That's the simplest I could put it with. It's like when I read the Popeye Vol and it talks about all the different type of people. And like when they're the one of the few that really get into the wood people. and it's very limited. It's like, well, the wood people pissed everybody off and they had to get destroyed. Man, when it's, the story is much more deeper than that. It's an older story than this little short story. That just the gods got mad. It's not that simple. And so, from that short story, I was able to tap into a much bigger story. And so I think for anybody that's, where you have to really start. Is to see, like that. And that's where the reading comes in to see, like me, even me, with Diverger, I had to study this to know that this will work for me. But it was first given to me mentally. As you know, it's just glimpses of this. And so for whatever you do, you can get that kind of whatever motivation, spiritually, work, whatever, romance. I mean, you can get these glimpses of things to come. Yeah. Of things to come. And as you hone in more on it, it's a you get better at it. Yeah, you get better at it. So you just do your thing. Didn't say you before some people were green. They're saying there's not a certain metal landed in a mountain in Haiti. It came from space. Sounds like Black Panther, but that's why. Okay, I'd have to look that up. My middle two got a lot of my ways. Looks more like my ex-wife to me. Like my first son looks like me. My 28-year-olds, well, my daughter looks just like my oldest daughter looks just like her mother, but she's my complexion. She's a little yellower than me. I mean, she's like light brown, but she looks like her mother. I mean, she has my almond face, but she looks like her mother. My 28-year-old son looks like me, but he has his mother's long legs and long arms. He has like my almond face, but he's always had blue eyes like his grandmother. But his eyes are like his grandfather's family's eyes. These were Polish folks, German Polish folks. And he has their eyes. Like when I see him, I see his grandfather's eyes in him, but his face looks like me. My 25-year-old looks like his mother. He is browner than me, but the same almond face. He has her nose, and he has his eyes are the way hers are. So my 22-year-old son, maybe 23. No, we're two. I'm only 62. So my 22-year-old son, he looks like me. He looks like me and looks like his mom, but long legs, tall. And then my 22-year-old son, I don't know. He's when he was born, I was like, God damn, Margot, he looks like the neighborhood coon. So I don't know who he looks. No, he has his mother's identical face. He's just darker. Because they took a picture where they're both standing side by side when he was younger. And they look like, and then of course, she's been kind of sickly lately, but he looks like her. He looks just like her. Also known of a piece. Let me see. But didn't you say before some people were green here? Okay, I'll answer that. Who you got winning the NBA championship? I don't know. I'm still kind of. I want to see the Timberwolves. I say that every year though. Place in Africa where they speak of a mountain people and a place where the mountain opened up. People lived inside and would trade with outside locals. But the past. Oh, okay. I'm not hip to that. At certain times, and rumors have it that they don't trade with us anymore. Humanity. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Earth is vast, so it's it's we're only exposed to what they feel we need to be exposed to. So it a whole other, and I mean, we don't even talk about like a micro, like when they get into Ant-Man and the micro civilization, they could be all around us that wouldn't need that much space. They show you that in Men in Black, where it's a whole civilization living in a cabinet. So it could be something like when what is it called, Traveler's Guide to the Galaxy, when they say that mice, you remember mice end up with the ultimate. Mice are the ultimate that are in control of everything. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Remember, it was mice that was the one. So we don't realize that something small that occupies very small space, which is opposite of the machines. Because remember, the machine is always going to need space. Could be, manipulating us too. So we just don't know that. So that, has to be in consideration too. It ain't just big guys. But when you was talking about green people, that's like what Dr. Valentine brought up. That people were definitely different hues. And there was a green hue, blue hue. And, I've said, Wes Paneri kind of used the same type of work, and Wes just changed it, saying that instead of the hues, there was energy beings. And these energy beings was, different hues. So it's really the same thing if you've heard both of them. They didn't need to eat. They got fed from the sun, and everything like that. And yeah, it's like if you just like we were talking about trees and tree people, like if trees, if people were to became from trees, people would still need the only same thing that a tree needs. Sun and water. The people wouldn't need anything more than that, right? And despite it being mobile people, if you were made out of wood, you would still need the same things. And then we know, trees, the history of trees moving. The talking trees come in the Wizard of Oz. So they're telling you that there's some point of history, there was some type of intelligence there of not only just talking trees, but they can move. The funniest part of the movie is when they walk in and, if you have a fucked up thought, something comes and slaps you. That the first time I saw that, I had to keep rewinding that shit. You walk and you have a fucked up thought and something come out the ground, just slap the shit out you. That's how it should be. You have a fucked up thought, something just like, psh, don't have that thought. That's a stupid ass thought. You shouldn't have it. And, I just want to, greet everybody to this new week. I hope it's, everything you need. And I hope everything that, starting this week. Yeah, I look forward to this week myself. As I said, whatever I do today, if I don't play pickleball, if I do, it's not that big a deal, I didn't get that much rest. Last night I slept on the couch downstairs, which sleeps super great. I was sleeping like a motherfucker. So, didn't remember all the great movies. Don't remember all about the movies. Oh, okay. Yeah, that part is funny about that movie. And when they go to different trips with too, Oh, I'm gonna tell you what was cool about Dune that you didn't see in Dune 2. So in Dune 1, they bring this creature. And this creature talks to Emperor how they want to mess around and they want to kill the Atreides people, this creature. Well, what you learn later is this creature helps them when they talk about bending time. The book breaks it down. But Dune, they don't show this in Dune 1 or 2. This creature helps them bend time. And where Paul Atreides says, to be able to travel without moving. So they go to this place, and because they can use the spice to bend time, they can just go to this place and be moved through space time with the help of the spice and this creature. So that was interesting that they didn't add. It's in the movie and it's in the book, but that was real interesting that I forgot about. So the older one gets deep like that. And it finishes the story. It doesn't leave you hanging like these new ones. So, what they say? That's a very strange movie, Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah, it is. It is. It is a very strange music. And the first time I watched it, it gives you the 42. The point is 42. This could be looked at as melanated, The answer is 42. Which could mean what it means, But like, it's a couple messages in the movie. You have the bureaucrats in the movie. Everything that they do, to blow up a planet, whatever they want to do, all the paperwork, and it takes forever. I mean, it's a lot of little messages in there. So the more I watch it over the years, because the first time I'm looking like, what the hell was this movie about? As the more I watch it, I get a little more out of it. So kind of entertaining. But yeah, seeing that part of Dune was kind of neat. But yeah, I think the first new movie I saw this year was Dune 2. I don't think I saw a movie in January, and I don't think I saw a movie in February. Maybe what came out in January. If something came out in January, I saw it. Because it's funny how quick Willy Wonka is. I watched Willy Wonka on TV the other night, or I watched about 20 minutes of it, and I went to see the movie not that long ago. But I still think when I went to see it, was it 24? I don't think so. I think it was still before Christmas when I saw Willy Wonka. So we haven't been going lately. So and even Dune, I didn't see it when it came out. It had came out. And I'm telling you, Dune had to do well because I saw it 2 weeks after it came out, and there was still a nice crowd, a real nice crowd. I was surprised how many people were up in there for a 2 week out movie. This was the second week I saw it. So they say that didn't do well. I'd be very surprised. But Oppenheimer was packed when I saw it. Just like Barbie. Oppenheimer, remember, they both opened up. It was like Barbie was packed and Oppenheimer was packed. They was going neck and neck. But Killer of the Flower Moon was too. But it's sad that sister didn't get recognized. I mean, she got recognized as being nominated. That's a lifetime achievement. Just being nominated, but really she would have won. She should have won. Her role was too impactful. And it was like, really, they don't want to be reminded of that. That's why she didn't win. They didn't want to be reminded of that. That she played one of the best victims by America that was ever given an example of. America didn't, they gave her the Golden Glove, but they definitely didn't want to give her, this, to admit that she put in the mirror in their face how these people was treated, which is still relevant in a lot of different ways today. And I don't come from victim, I'm coming from, but it's, that bullshit, pull yourself up from your bootstraps was never really practiced. Yeah, that's messed up. That is messed up. Lakers shouldn't have won. That was bogus. That was totally bogus. Huh. So yeah, no debauchery tonight. Doesn't look like it, which is good. And if my 3 hours, okay, I got my 3 hours in, y'all. So I think I'm gonna have to call it. Wow, thank you. Really, this has been fun. Let me maybe I should finish where I philosophize. My son was like, I hope he's like, somebody wanted to philosophize, and I was just like watching the game and shit. And he's like, man, he calls me all the time. It's like asking me questions and shit. And really, I don't want him to bring motherfuckers around. Not really, just to ask me goofy ass questions. But it's not goofy, There's a lot of answers that people just, come up with, and they really want to know, like they come up with their imagination and what they're knowing comes up with, and they want to, want to have an opinion or hear an opinion from someone that, from what my son has told him, it's like I've experienced a lot of things, had many hands out on things. And so they like to hear, and especially like not the normal kind of things. And so my point of it is, and how it relates to everyone is, I've said this before, we are each and every one of us unique and magical. There's no way to get away from you being magical. Now, those of you out here listening that are evil, yeah, I mean, we are evil people too. I mean, it's that's a big part of it. And don't think there's what is called neutral. They kind of teeter back between good and evil because we can't say that it's so much that others not out there too. But there's love, which is supreme. And that's, the start of community is love. As I said before, you live in a community and everybody sees you solid and you do what you're supposed to do, then they don't have to worry about you. And that's what you want. You blend in a positive way. That's why, my answer for everything is just trying to be smooth. I mean, I take everything seriously that I do in the home, and a lot of people, do things and get sloppy and make things like, that never had to be worried about because they get sloppy about things. I try not to do that. Like my woman only screams it a couple times, and she ain't screaming because you're mad at me. It's like I snapped at her the other day because like she wants to buy a motherfucking coffee table, and I just don't give a fuck about a coffee table. I need a bookshelf because I got 1,000 books that need to be compartmentalized. But a motherfucking coffee table I could give a fuck about. And it's like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. Whatever kind you like, baby, you get it. Fuck that coffee table. I sit in my chairs most of the time. If she wants me to, come on the couch with her, I definitely do that. But a coffee table, I don't care about. Because whatever, that kind of thing don't matter to me. I would go to an antique store and find the biggest piece of wood table I could find. It's all wood, because right now you just find the veneers. It tells you what kind of veneer. It's wood, veneer on top of wood to give you a certain look. Plastic-like, wood-like. And it's not all bad, but you can still get the old solid stuff. And I always liked that old stuff. So they don't like that kind of stuff. Because I'd go to a old place in a minute and get me an old wood table, solid wood table. But a lot of that. And that's the end of antiques, Because we're going to have a generation where people just don't care about the wood. And the wood's not going to be taken care of. And I'm talking about wood furniture. It's not going to be taken care of. And it's going to disappear. Because it's not like if you think of like old wood furniture, it's not going to be like we see the old cars and the old cars in barns. And, these old cars are pretty still, they're metal and, something over them and just dust ain't going to destroy the cars compared to, where wood's going to end up. The people that don't care about the wood anymore and the wood furniture, the cabinets, the bars. I mean, this stuff is going to go away just because of the lack of interest in this stuff. And I don't know, is that good or bad? That, the things that were once looked as antiques is there's a generation of people that don't care. Like, fuck this shit. We don't want nothing like that. And it's kind of understandable too, taste change, but still to see, the workmanship that went into some of these things is going to disappear because of lack of interest in the art of the furniture, because furniture is like art too. It's a whole concept into it, to create it. It's most furniture comes with a fucking blueprint. You understand, So there's a lot of thought into it, especially these old wooden patterns. But again, taste and everything change. Well, it's 4 a.m, so I think pickleball's out for the morning, fellas. I don't think I'm gonna make it. But that's the way the world's changing. And, there's nothing that my generation can really do about it because we can't save it all. So just something to think about. And it's like it's not easy to be positive all the time. And but it is easy, to have joy and love in your heart. It is all the time. Because that comes from self-love, of course. And as we go around as being men, there's a certain way we have to carry ourselves and certain ideas as we present ourselves, the many different opportunities and connections that we have. And so we're in and out our real selves. So we make these many different connections on being who, not only who the man is, what the man does, right? What you do too, and the effort you put into what you do to take care and be you. And my point almost nightly is the same thing. It's like when I talk against sports, it's because I look at sports as a religion. It's part of creation. It's not something that only certain groups should control. And when I talk about just general experience, I mean, it's all of us just have a general feeling about how we each personally feel. It's a lot of feeling, huh? and meaning. Again, we all have that voice that's just special to us that we hear, right? We have that voice there, And the goal is, how much do you control that voice that's there? And as you learn to shed attachments, where that voice is alone, and that voice is there, and it's like that voice is even not even driven by ego anymore. It's not just that responsive ego. The ego wants to jump right into it, You hold the ego back. It's like, I don't need you right now, ego. I need you just to play it cool. And that's what I try to talk to, because that's the real you out there of everybody. That's the real part of everybody out there. Like any part you hear or you carry to what I say, carry the idea about you. And when you're alone, to make sure that it's just your thoughts, and how to shed away all the other kind of attachments that try to attach themselves to your thoughts. Because we are all put on so many different spells that it's easy attachments to you. I heard a story today. Someone bought an African mask, put it in their crib. They felt one of the children got possessed by it. And they had to do several things to unpossess the child. And so, that's sometimes, you get things like that. You kind of, it's like here, I kind of like what I mix here, it doesn't have a real meaning to me. Bringing it here is like, yeah, I'm not mixing all this with something like that. So sometimes, you got to cleanse these things too. And you can do it outside. You can fucking sage it. There's a lot of things you can do to something, especially talismans, mask, little idols. You can clear these little things fairly easy. Washing them is one way to kind of clear them too. Now, the mask, These people claim that the young man was possessed by the mask. I can't yay or nay it. You dig? I didn't experience it, so I can't really speak on it. But I can tell you what they told me, and you can very well. There's certain things that you got to make sure that it's cleansed. Now you clean it. That's why you bring crystals from home. Wash them if you can wash them. Make sure it's not a type of crystal that can't be washed, like selenite. But most crystals can be washed, or essential oil too. And then I hit them with sound, that big bowl. I give them essential oil, bowl. And then, we're all connecting with it. And it's interesting because I've had stones like, wow, I didn't think I'd be treated like this. I had a stone tell me that one time. And the story, when the stones were soft and alive. It's a poem. When the stones were soft and alive. And we know Sugarite was definitely alive at one point. So. And there's so many things going on that make us forget about ourselves. They want to take us outside of ourselves. And that's a big threat. And that's what seems like everything that's put in front of us is meant to do, is take away from who we are, take away from our own path. Think about other things, don't think about ourselves. So, well, I think this is long enough. I appreciate you guys coming. And I will see you, those of you that are interested in continuing to see me again, which seeing me as support, which I appreciate. Checking in, everybody that came. I can really dig it. I appreciate it. And as I always say, till we meet again.